The land of Ilion is in desperate need of an expert-level blacksmith. The people of this region have been working the crafts with dull tools for a few decades now. I'm a novice metalworking fella, and I've come seeking to fulfill my aspirations to become a famous blacksmith. With no other competitors in sight, this position is ripe for the taking. To complete 100% of While the Iron's Hot, I will need to embark on the Artisan's Gauntlet and prove myself worthy of the title Legendary Blacksmith. I will need to seek out the village chieftains and complete the challenges they have prepared for me. I will need to execute magnificent swan dives to dodge unexpected explosions, and all the while rebuilding the old abandoned blacksmithing village of legend. Welcome to 100% of While the Iron's Hot. The game began with an introduction, a world where master artisans rule, and among them we meet a young blacksmith known only as Aramis. I've heard tales of a place called Ilion, a marvelous island abundant with resources and raw talent. My dream to become a legendary blacksmith could come to fruition if I could get there with my giant backpack. Oh, would you look at that! A captain and his crew from Ilion are at the dock right now. I threaten old mate with my hammer, and he agrees to give me safe passage. I'm rudely roused from my slumber by a fella called Gilly. I apparently slept through a rough storm. Well, I was tired, mate. Did you see that huge backpack I was carrying around? Anyways, the captain wants to see me. A slight problem. He's on deck, and the ladder has been damaged in that storm. Gilly was told to fix it, but he rambles on about a crew member stealing his diary, or sailor's log. Why are you telling me this? Well, he wants my help finding it, but please don't read his diary, or sailor's log, that specification is yet to be determined, because it has a lot of top secret information in it. I take control of Aramis. The first thing I do is run around like some spastic dog. I try to snoop in this chest that isn't mine, but it has a code barring my intrusion. Gilly is calling out for his diary. What a weird bloke. Mr. Stern is up here taking stock of crates. 1, 2, 3, 4? He only approved 3. Why are there 4 crates? Mate, that's something you should have done before setting sail. I find Gilly's diary in plain sight. I am a rude bastard. I will read this diary. The fella is quite the romantic, writing about dolphins, sipping coffee with the captain, and being entrusted with a very important code. Look at this idiot, he has no idea. I utilize my roguelike talents, and I break into this chest using that code. Inside is a note, which I don't read yet, a recipe, and a baggie of gold, which I'm going to help myself to. I investigate this recipe, and it shows me how to make an iron horseshoe. I've not played much Minecraft in my days, but this is giving me Minecraft vibes. I give Gilly his diary back, and I tell him the truth, I did read it. He's disappointed in me. He thought I could be trusted. Well, apparently you were trusted to fix this ladder. Do I need to do this myself? While I investigate, I see a crate I can interact with. I climb on top of it, and I do a magnificent swan dive to showcase my athleticism. But I then discover I can use this movable crate to help me reach this ladder, which I promptly do, and I climb onto the deck. I locate Captain Wade. Indeed, mate, I am a blacksmith, and we're almost at Ilion, which is good news for me. But for right now, I work for him. He is giving me safe passage, and my job is to hoist the mainsail. Alright, nothing that a blacksmith can't do. Alright, let's do this. I shall leap enthusiastically towards my goal. You're joking me. That didn't go well, did it? Is this old man going to fish me up like a fish? Yes, he is. Not exactly, but he does see me floating on some debris down below, and he scurries to come to my rescue. I get an achievement, Welcome to Ilion, and I find myself asleep again in this house. I wake up myself this time though, and I have a throbbing headache. Well, I am alive, and I strut outside. He lives, the fella exclaims. Old mate wasn't too sure when he dragged me up from the shore. Mr. No-Arm there introduces himself as Dreisten, and he says that I am in Stull, the old blacksmith village of Ilion. I tried to recall what happened. There was no storm, but a loud boom, some shaking, and then nothing. Dreisten also says that he hasn't seen anyone else. I may be the sole survivor of that accident. Dusty isn't too fussed about the what ifs. He's more curious about that hammer I have in my pocket. I'm a blacksmith, and I've come here looking for my destiny, which compels him to say, thank the fire gods. Ilion hasn't had a proper blacksmith for years. The position of master of the blacksmithing craft is ripe for the taking. The old fella seems to have taken a liking to me. He shows me an old building that has fallen into disarray. Stal was once the great blacksmithing village, buzzing with people and raw talent. That was in times gone by. When the last blacksmith disappeared, the place became abandoned. The name of my predecessor was Tvastar, and apparently according to silly rumors, they went too far in their quest to become a master and they triggered a curse. That is all very interesting, but right now, Stal is in ruin. Dreisten says we can change all that, and I'm keen as hell. Where do we begin? Well, this building used to be the old forge. Now, I have a question for old boy here. Why are you doing all this? It doesn't look like he's got arms, by the way. I used to be a blacksmith as well, but I lost my arm. Okay, I was just gonna say, this guy doesn't have arms, but okay, I lost my arm and put a stop to my practice. Poor fella. Ever since, I haven't felt very useful. I think taking on a project like this could help me find purpose in life again. Well, when you say it like that, let's do this. If we're to rebuild this village, I need to be familiar with this design table. It's this thing in front of my house. Apparently Dreisten has already given me a house that looks like it's been haphazardly put together, but okay. I look at this design table. There's a couple of building trees, but this one is calling my name right now. The first forge upgrade, and it's all free. Wow, plenty of hard work went into this. I even get an achievement for it. When I return, I see some magic at work. The old forge is rising up from the earth. I guess I've got magical powers. It's not pretty, but it'll work. As my renown improves on Elian, more renovations will become available, which will be good for business. It'll even encourage people to move back here. Dreisten says that he can take care of the place if I'm ever absent. For now, my first smithing request. Old Dusty's cheese knife has been stolen. It needs to be balanced and sharp. A chance to show my skills. How about a quick reminder of how it all works? I mean, I was in an explosion a few hours ago, so yes please. In the forge room, the smelter is on the left. I use this to smelt ores into something I can work with at the anvil. I can use the lever to make the fire hotter and speed up this process. I slap 2 iron ores that Dreisten has lent me and I watch them smelt. Next, the anvil is used to hammer the metal to fit the shape I have in mind. I didn't pay attention in this particular minigame, but do you see that green outline? I need to wait until my hammer strokes meet the orange squares outside of that green zone and hammer them out. As you can see, I'm hammering the incorrect spots and I stuff this up completely. Next, I interact with the grindstone. I shamefully choose the very red color coded metal piece because it's dodgy as hell and I get to work. I grind this metal by following the prompts. At least I understood this part. The last step is I look at my assembling table. I have this piece of sharp metal now, a chunk of wood and a recipe. I didn't look at the instructions until after I randomly slapped these materials on the table, but it looks like I would have correctly made this iron knife. I press and hold E and voila, I slapped together my very first ever smithing order. I'm sure that Dusty is being polite, but he's pleased with his new knife, though he mentions that in future I will want to watch the quality of my work that I'll be making for other aliens. Speaking of which, before I go looking for orders, I will need to stock up on materials. There's an abandoned mine to the east I can pilfer, according to Dreisten. It's currently nighttime and I enter the world map. The entire place is covered in fog, and when I move around, I disperse this fog. I ram my face into this mine location, allowing me the choice to enter it. There's lanterns inside, thank God, and I see an old pickaxe I can help myself to over here. I press F on each node of iron and I collect my fill. When I was done, I was taking my leave and I hear a voice. A sneaky fella accosts me wielding his little daggers. His name is Sneaky Sam and he asks me what I'm doing here, to which I reply I'm just collecting ores. He's not pleased with this response and he gets up in my face. You shouldn't be here, and he asks who sent me. Mate, no one sent me, but Sneaky Sam isn't buying it at all. Now I can't help but notice that we're both standing on this rickety old bridge. Naturally it breaks and we both plummet. Down below, I survived. Must have had a good landing, but old boy Sammy there is not so lucky. But now I need to find a way to get out of here. First things first, I make sure to loot Sam. A letter addressed to the late Sneaky Sam. To sum it up, it's from the sneaky boss. He's tired of sending the exact same letter to Sammy here. He needs to stop removing his ring, that it is used to gain access to their hideout, that he's probably lost his ring in that cave of his, referring to this one no doubt. The code down below is related to his share of the last job. Speaking of letters, I still have the note I swiped from Gilly's chest on the boat. I should probably go ahead and read it. I guess All Mate had the last laugh, haha you bilgy rat. That's right, it's empty. I'm a trickster, you see. I would never make it so easy to find my treasure. I'm watching you read this letter as we speak. From now on, I'll always be watching you. Well, I can tell you one thing. It's very unfortunate. I'm pretty sure All Might is dead. Well, looks like he had the last laugh. And then I had the final last laugh. Rest in peace, Gilly. Anyways, I make my way through the mines, collecting more ores where I can. I make improvised tools to help me traverse this landscape. I break open walls to let me get to loot chests on the other side, but it needs a code. And did I not just find a code in that letter from the sneaky boss? Once I successfully break into this chest, I'm rewarded with sacks of money, some materials, and 5 recipes. Hell of a bounty, thanks Sneaky Sam. Now all these recipes are basic ones for iron tools and such. There's a broken elevator here, which I quickly fix up with a few things I found in the mines, and I ascend upwards. I find Sneaky Sam's ring, and I finally find my way out of this mine. Outside on the world map, this area was blocked off by a giant rock, but I'm able to use my pickaxe and break this obstacle and get a small bounty as well as clearing the path. It's quite late at night, and I sluggishly drag my carcass back home. I take note that my energy bar at the top there has only got 10 left. Even old boy Dryston comments on my looks. I tell him what happened, and he says that I probably ran into one of the sneakies. Usually all talk, but it's best to avoid them. I got the ores that we need, but he sends me to bed like a child before we move on with what we need to do. I have a choice to sleep until night, so 5-minute cat nap I guess, or sleep until morning. Dawn it is then. As I slumber, a summary pops up about what I did today, how many clouds I explored, tiles I traversed, orders I have done, mini games I've played, buildings built, quests completed, and characters I have met. I also have a bar at the top about my blacksmithing level, and apparently I'm an aspiring level 1. Well, I've got work to do to become a master. I rise from my slumber on the morning of day 2. I explore my menus, and I see a thing called the Codex. From the looks of it, this thing will store information about all the people I'm yet to meet, and any information about the villages I'm yet to visit. I haven't seen the old fella this morning, but I start to smell that ore I got yesterday, and I try again to speed this process. This time I'm successfully hitting the green marker, and I get 2 bars for the price of 1 ore each time I do. I don't see this at this time however, but good news for me, I do realize my mistake from yesterday, and I'm able to do this hammer smashing minigame correctly this time round. This is how I greet people in the morning. Hey buddy. Wee. Oof, I almost ankle tapped him, but he's got something to tell me. You just missed the strangest thing. I learned something new. I was sitting here smoking my pipe when a small rabbit hopped by and winked at me. Tell me, what was in your pipe, mate? Well, clearly the good stuff was in his pipe. Well, he had to make a trek to the village called Strom to the east, a lumberjack village. If he was doing lots of walking, he's earned his little something something. Also, apparently each village in Ilion has its own specialization. This one was smithing, and Strom is full of lumberjacks. To the point. He did all of that walking to go show the woodfellas that very dodgy knife I had made for him. Apparently this intrigued them so much that I should go over there and explore some business opportunities. Thank God I'm the only blacksmith. I need to head east to look for Myrtle. Alright then. Before I do, I check my recipes tab. I was compelled to maybe make a woodcutting axe with the stuff I made this morning, to practice of course. I found the recipe, and right now all I can do is try to commit this thing to my memory. And clearly it's not very good, because I eventually throw these things into the assembly table, and I was slightly confused as to why I made a spear. I had all those recipes from the late Sammy Boy the Thief's chest, and I go ahead and I learn them all now, though I think I just saw a few of those in my knowledge bank regardless. I see that it's already dark. The days go relatively quick in this game, and I start to leg it out of here. I see my destination on my map, and I fight through the fog to get there, making sure to break down another boulder in my way. Wait, did Dryston bar my way? What a cheeky fella. Look, I don't mind cheeky, but I get accosted by this fella wielding his pointy stabby thing as I enter Strom. I state my business, I'm the blacksmith, and the fella lowers his spear. He thought I'd be taller. I feel personally attacked. I can only speak to one person here right now, that Amazonian woman, and I'm assuming this is Myrtle. It is indeed, and she confirms that her people could use my skills. They have been working their craft with dull axes. Firstly, a test. I need to prove myself to her before accepting orders. A simple request. She would like me to help them fix their notice board, so the villagers could post their requests on this thing. From me, she needs nails and a hammer. Alright, easy enough. There's a vendor here and I can buy a few bits and pieces. Back at home, I look up the hammer and the nail recipes. I commit them to my memory, but I later discover there's a much easier way to fulfill these orders, especially when I sharpen that 2x2, and I'm about to make something that's not a hammer. Very iron hatchet? What the f? Did I stuff it up somewhere, did I? Yep, you did. Damn, I can see I'm going to make quite a few mistakes before becoming the master blacksmith, that's for sure. Ah, gotcha, that was my mistake. I sharpened them before, whereas this one is probably gonna ask for, if I can look at the thing, iron hammer. Yeah, you just want an iron plate. I do like this though, it's actually quite challenging. For the nails, I needed 3 iron sharpened strips, these small boys. You know what's funny? I'm grinding these one at a time. You can actually make and grind bulk items, but I don't figure this out until much later. I hope there's a way you can do multiple things at the same time. That would be appreciated. Yep, there is. You're gonna become jubilant when you figure that out. Anyways, I craft the nails, and I get an achievement for it. Craft nails. Is that a petty achievement, is it? I go ahead and run to Strom 2 times this night. I take a breather and take note that my energy is at 33. When it gets low, I should be worried, but energy management is quite easy in this game. Myrtle was impressed with my order, and she mentions that a fella called Splinter has been looking for me. A small lad, and he wants me to make him a knight's helmet. Goodness me, I have made a hammer, nails, and then straight into making a helmet. One that looks like what this handsome fella's wearing. Luckily, he's got the recipe for me to replicate this work. This is it, nice and simple, and I hammer away. I make a mistake and I scuff up one of the pieces. The evidence is that slab is red, bad quality, and the rest of the stuff is purple, good quality. I do care about this factor, so I remake what I need and I get into the habit of only making good quality metalwork and always tossing the bad. It is the early hours of the morning and I slap this thing together. As you can see, I'm taking a 5-minute cat nap before sunrise. Nice, look at that. Boy. Well, I am now an aspiring level 3 blacksmith. I had a 5-minute power nap. I'm running on excitement fumes, to be honest, because I'm back at the mines and I gather up a storm. I'm glad everything has respawned. However, I have to enter the mines from both directions to get the full amount. If I do this, I get a healthy supply of iron ore. My pickaxe is no longer healthy. In fact, it's gone. I have no pickaxe. It must have broke. I am in luck though. Hey buddy, I'm in a pinch. Would you happen to have some tools I can use? I can just make them. Okay, take this old axe and pickaxe I found on my morning walk. Thank you, but I was actually hoping to make my own. Okay, that's perfectly fine with me. I don't have to spend any resources. Here's old mate smoking his pipe, looking out into the wilderness, doing old men things. Old man things indeed. The tools he gave me were also bad quality, but hey, I have no right to complain. He gave me tools for free. I have a helmet for a brave knight and the kid is elated. He gives me a recipe which is a tool used to make sweaters, so knitting needles I think. So overnight the lumberjacks of Strom have repaired their notice board. There are 5 requests up here, all various iron tools and even some knitting needles for Myrtle as well. Each one has a monetary reward and the odd piece of iron or wood as well. I take every single one of them of course. In fact, I had already made a good hatchet I could give away to this fella right away. Complete your first order. Okay, well it was something I made the other day, which is beautiful, but there you go. Well, splendid. Here's your payment and a bonus for such beautiful craftsmanship. Okay. Oh, okay, so you get... Okay, always make sure things are of high quality. Yep, as you saw there, I got a bonus 11 gold on top of the 43, which is about a 25% bonus, so I'm always going to strive for excellence in my craft. Outside of Stull, I go ahead and clear some land, chop down some trees, and I build up my stocks of wood. I'm a huge fan of the fact that I can clear the world map like this. I navigate my quest journal and I have a look at all these tools I need to make. I do my best to memorize all of them. Before I figured out how to properly do this, I typed the recipes on my second monitor. I then discovered that when I break away the orange from the green, if I cut the orange off completely by taking down this single square, it gets rid of the other two as well. It's no longer attached to the green zone, so this makes sense. Also, can you see those hammer strokes on the bottom? I need to mold this material in 4 strokes or I fail it. Later I go ahead and I make as many of those requests as I can. Right now I discover that I don't have the recipe for a spatula, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip this one. I then hop my way back to Strom and I hear a cry of distress. Someone is calling for help. Apparently no one is coming to this bearded fella's aid. Okay, sure. Willowhair has been robbed. A rat stole his coins. The fiend went southeast. It might be in the woods near Strom. I am in no hurry to follow a rat. I give everyone here the orders they have requested, and because they're all good quality, I get bonuses for my craftsmanship. This night after I sleep, I'm given an option as I leveled up. I'm good with crafting, so I choose to get the 5% more money from completing order bonus, and I start the next day by pilfering the mine some more. I take note on this occasion that Allmate is still here. That's pretty gnarly, I'm sure this place stinks. But from my excursion, I can walk away with about 100 iron ore each day, which is pretty good news for me. I strike up a conversation with Dreisten, but I tell him the same thing. I'm in a pinch and he gives me some old tools again. Well, I'll go and use them to clear some more lands. My axes break down before I can cut down this forest surrounding this building to the south. I'm curious to see what this is all about. As my tools broke, I go ahead and make my own good quality ones. I have 2 axes and 2 pickaxes when I'm done, and afterwards I call it a day as my energy is quite low. I was still tired in the morning as I walked into a tree looking like an idiot, but I steal away with another 100-ish iron ore for my troubles. I chop down these troublesome trees surrounding this building as I was really curious as to what it was. When I go in, I can see another smithing anvil hanger thing there, so I assume another blacksmithing village, or was anyways, as this place is run down and abandoned. I do find a straw hat, of course. Here's my Monkey D. Luffy reference. Of course there's gonna be a straw hat in this thing. I have to become Monkey D. Blacksmith. Anime aside, I stroll through and find some sort of intricate pillars. I can interact with them as well. I offer a slab of iron. Something happens. And then nothing. I can take the thing I offered back, which is really weird. The middle part is glowing, and I find a random iron sword here. In this other building, a recipe on the wall, and I also grab a spear from this weapon rack. The recipe is for a chain. Good stuff. I destroy some rubble upstairs, and a diary is revealed to me. It belongs to Tvastar, my predecessor. I'm gonna paraphrase here. Tvastar has been here for 10 years. Alien has changed so much. Their reputation and popularity has spread. Every king, warrior and knight comes here to buy from the craftsmen. A young warrior called Cobra came to me, telling me tales of a great serpent he has slain, of which he asked me to make a sword and spear of its scales and fangs that he liberated from the beast. It was a good payday. As I gave him his weapons, the young fellow rode into the sunset, holding the spear in his left hand and the sword in his right. That last sentence was important, by the way. The diary finished with Tvastar expressing concerns for Alien. There are many greedy humans out there, and they may try to come here because of the abundant resources, but I will remain and do what I can to keep the land a place of harmony and creative innovation. I take my leave of this place. Again, I want to quickly point out how that text mentioned the spear in his left hand and the sword in his right. This will become useful right here, but later when I figure it out. For now, I go and find this well. I was hunting down that thieving rat. Best get a quick warm-up. Did I just punch down a tree? Yeah, well, that rat is next. And from the looks of this, it's a secret ladder. I get cold feet, however. That rat is twice my size. Apparently Porgy here is annoyed that more than one twerp has fallen down here, trying to take back our coin. If we don't stop this, he will close up his shop for good. I get crafty with him. I offer him my smithing talents. I can help provide him with something that can help his shop that he just threatened to close. Apparently this rat has a passion for knitting. If I provide him with some solid iron knitting needles, he could forgo stealing, which he was doing for fun by the way, and commit his life to making sweaters. Alright, deal then. Beyond this tree north of the lumberjack village, I see a bear? No, it's an ox that's hoisted to a broken down caravan. A poor fella's stuck, it seems. I free him, of course, and we bond over some marshmallows over a fire. I open to old boy Oxy here, telling him my dream to become a master blacksmith. The night continues, and I ask him if he wants to join me in Stull, which is well received, and I promise him that I will make him a nice little place. I tell him he can make his way there in the morning, and I'll meet up with him when I go back. Clever ox indeed. When I wake up from my lovely camping trip, Oxy has already moved on. There's a bridge just north of me. Mr. Guardsman tells me by order of Myrtle, the bridge is off limits. I mean, it is falling apart, so that's fair. Maybe I can fix it. I'll go speak to Myrtle, but not before collecting my fill of iron ore, of course. Oxy is back home, and I can say hi, which is me giving him a nice pat, which he appreciates. I can give him presents, it seems. The straw hat, of course, so you know what's coming next. Monkey D. Ox. Well, the hat suits him, as well as the name. There's an achievement to dress him up in a number of things, by the way. Now, while I'm here, I go ahead and make those knitting needles for Mr. Future Tailor of Alien. I check my town upgrade thing again, and I see I could upgrade my forge another time. And doing this allows me to make things in bulk, plus resmelting items to reuse the metal, which sounds pretty good to me. Porgy is in awe of the needles. Dare he touch such fine craftsmanship with his rodent paws? Yeah, it's fine, mate, it's all yours. He's jovial, of course, and he will take take some time getting things back in order, he gives me the stolen bag of gold. I like how the quest marker gives me the option of either keeping the gold for myself or to return them to Willow. Before I get to him, I meet this robed fella in the village, Feldspar. He comes from a mountain village in the north where it's always cold. To that end, he wants something to hang from his ceiling that will never lose its light and warm glow. He will give me the opportunity to make this thing, but it must be of the best quality, not just a regular chandelier. Should I succeed, I will be greatly rewarded. Well, you had me at reward, mate. Here's a smaller reward from Willow right now. He shares some of the coins I retrieved from Porgy, which is nice of him. More notice board requests follow, and like a loot goblin, I snag all of them. I start making them this night. That's a small boy accuracy right there. Dreisten, while I was away, has set up a mailbox next to my forge, which will become handy. I may never see the mail service employees in this game, but they are the best. I also tell them about this very important order I have for a chandelier that never goes out. Almost sounds like it's magic. That's because it is magic. Old alien magic. He does indeed have a recipe for this thing I want to make, which is lucky. It's called the Undying Chandelier. I slept on this idea. I picked a new skill perk to reduce buying prices from the merchants, and I got the Rising Talent achievement when I woke up. So, day 7, I spent some time doing requests for villagers as I wanted to make some money and work on my smithing skills. On this occasion, the fella gave me a swamp low log, something that can hold the eternal flame, which may be something I need. I don't know, but it sounds intriguing. I haven't even finished off the request from yesterday, but goodness me, there's 5 new ones today. Like, they generate new ones every single day, even though I already have a few. Completing another request has actually yielded me a recipe. It's for the metal string, so doing these things are worth it if I can unlock new things. I go into my menu to look at this recipe several times for the chandelier, as this is the next thing I want to make, but I keep stumbling on the fact that I don't have candles. I go and ask Dreisten this, and he says to make a candle everlasting, you need alien magic, and that Tvastar's forge always had a warm glow, which is a pretty big hint. He says candles used to be there, but they've been stolen since then. May have been that same rat that stole his knife before. Oh right, so Porgy I guess. Before visiting him, I make some more orders. I was doing a lot today. As you can see, I have 8 energy left and my guy looks like he's ready to pass out. I got enough rest at least to hand in a truckload of orders the following day, and when I was done, I had about 1300 on me. I am swimming in moolah. I go ahead and get some exercise on my way to see Porgy, and he was convinced that I had returned to get a sweater from him. When I tell him I'm here for some candles, he's quite disappointed in my life choices. He will still help me. He has the candles, but he's never been able to light them. Only the blacksmiths of old were able to light them. He sends me on my way, and he demands that next time I visit that I buy a sweater from him. Okay, fair enough. With that joyful goodbye, he has given me 4 candles, and as I'm running back home, in-game me has something to say. So I'm on my 8th day into this game, and can I be completely honest? I am enjoying this thus far. I am enjoying this. Yeah, it turned out to be a unique journey for me. I love this game. I'm poking my nose around again at Tvastar's old forge. This is the thing that will help me, but it's obviously a puzzle and I don't know how to figure this out. I even tried slapping a candle on this moving pillar thing, but with no luck. Dreisten again says the answer is back there. The eternal flame isn't Tvastar's old smelter. Please throw me an old bone, Witcher mate. Which he does. I may find a clue in the rubble there. The diary, of course, and then the bold text. Holding the spear in his left hand and the sword in the right. I believe we have it. Indeed, I remembered I had found a sword and a spear at this location, and I threw them into the 2 correct pillars. There you go. Ahoy hoy. And thus I was able to retrieve the eternal flame ember from the smelter. Golly, Dreisten hasn't seen these embers not since he was a young fella helping Tvastar at the old forge. With this flame, he can upgrade my forge to harness its majestic powers. It'll be hotter than any wood or coal burning fire. I say this sounds like magic, and he says that here on Alien, they are more connected to the earthly properties. They have spent generations working with the raw materials, and over time, they have learned to wield their secrets. I interact interact with my town planner again. I can upgrade my house and the forge. The house will give me extra storage, but for now I go ahead and grab that forge. I saunter on inside and there's a new blue flame emitting from the smelter now, and I can use it specifically to light these candles. A short time later, after making the best quality things I can, I'm slapping together this chandelier for that shady fella. I probably have bags under my eyes as I stayed up most of the night making most of the materials I would need for that house upgrade as well, but I do get the rest of them done a few hours later. Just quickly, I want to mention again, every single material I grind, mold or whatever, I still do them one at a time. Even the assembling table, I create one thing at a time. I'm mentioning this because I'm gonna elaborate on it shortly. Something related. The next forge upgrade lets me skip over some mini games and lets me take more control of my hammer on the anvil, which sounds pretty fine to me. For now, I watch my new house erect from the earth. It's a sight to behold. Extra storage in my home is also appreciated. I've been wanting extra storage for ages. I have in fact been carrying everything the entire game thus far. A little later, I've completed a few orders and picking up even more. I went a little crazy with these in the early game, and they eventually cluttered my journal for quite a while. Right now, Feldspar, as this is Mr. Roby Boy's name, is impressed with the chandelier. Very exquisite. My reward will arrive in Stull in a few days. Before that, Myrtle has a proper request for me. She asks if she could steal a minute of my time. I love that phrase. I use it all the time, so it was really nice reading it somewhere else. To the point, because of all the work I've been doing for these tree huggers, she feels they could open their gates to trading again. In comes that broken bridge up north. If I can fix it, it will help them out greatly. Willow has been asked to help install a setup for me here, so I can make everything I can on location, without having to return home, which is very decent of them. They've also provided me with recipes for hinges, screws and bolts. I will need these for this project. There's two broken sections. The first one needing nails, a chain as well as wood of course. As I was doing this batch of nails, I discovered something. Oh wait, did I just see something there? Hold the bloody phone there. Give me a second. Did I just see you say this? You're kidding me. You're absolutely joking me right now. Yep, I just realized I can make items in bulk. Oh, come on. Even at the grindstone, instead of grinding 20 separate pieces, I can grind them all at the same time. One mini game for all these nails, and I believe you still get the appropriate XP for all of them. Oh, no way. That's insane. Okay, I just found out a miraculous time saver. I was asking myself, is there a way you can queue this up? Can you queue this one up? I don't think you can queue this one up, unfortunately. But okay, yeah, that's going to save me a significant amount of time. Funny enough, I didn't try to queue up multiple nails simultaneously. You can actually do that. So alright, I just figured out I can prepare the metal for the jobs in bulk, and I will discover later that I can do the same at the final stage. Regardless, I was still jubilant at this time-saving lightbulb moment. So late into the night I work and I complete the repairs on this bridge. Myrtle is here and she thanks me for a job well done. Not only can they travel north again, so can I, and I'll be able to explore further into Elian. As thanks, they have sent me something which will be at Stull. I'm encouraged to go back and check it out before venturing further on, so okay, I just might do that. At home, I see I have mail. It's from someone called Opal. A trusted friend of his has sent him word of a rising blacksmith. My skills have sparked his interest. I've been invited to go see him at Mothermar, which is in the snowy fields to the north. I speak to old boy here while he's busy smoking his pipe. He says that the loggers have sent me a card. We should find a use for this, I reckon. I then mention to him that I got a letter from someone called Opal. Dreisten expresses excitement that Opal has taken an interest in me so fast. To reach him, I do need to go far to the north. But with my new ox friend, this cart Myrtle's gang has just gifted to me, we can maybe make something to help me with my travels. Some sort of mobile forge, which sounds bloody amazing. The design is in my town planner, and hell yeah, I just need some nails and hinges and I'll be all set. I get on those few items sharply the next morning, and when I have it all, I set up the stables right away. I see now that I have some extra storage here. Maybe this chest will come with me. I peek at this mobile forge upgrade sheet and I see 5 additional ones that I can get. I'll be getting them one at a time over the course of the game. For now, Dreisten gives me some farewell advice. I will have to go through a particularly nasty area, the swamplands beyond that bridge I just repaired. Sometimes the earth can just swallow you. Sounds delightful. In the world map, I can now travel on top of this cart. This uses much less energy, and when I feel like it, I can set up camp. When I take a closer look, I have unpacked everything I need for long voyages. I have a campfire, that chest I mentioned before, so it looks like mobile storage, which is appreciated. A reasonable comfy tent with my bed is here, and most amazingly, I have everything here from my forge. A smelter, anvil, grinding stone, and even an assembling table. This is truly a mobile forge. I love this. I can leave my camp if I wish to do so. In this case, one final trip to the mines just to top up on some iron ore. You can never have enough of the base resources. I then go ahead and make bulk items of things I might need in the near future. So lots of these small boys, a fair few of these slabby boys. You get the idea. I went ahead and modded a bunch of the base materials, as well as make a bunch of spare tools for the long journey ahead. I keep everything in my storage, of course. Now I may be crossing that bridge and not coming back anytime soon, so I decide that when I wake up, after packing up my camp of course, to do any final orders for the people here. I didn't want my journal so full before moving on, but I also decided that if I ever get the choice to pick up so many orders at the same time, I'll probably pass on them unless I need to because they can be time consuming. I move beyond the bridge during the nighttime and I disperse this fog of uncertainty. I eventually fall into the abyss, lose 10 energy, and I get teleported back to the start. I see. Am I in the okay, gotcha. I'm in the swamplands right now, am I? Indeed, I am in the swamplands. I take note of this wooden sign and I try my best to follow it, but it can still be tricky. After a few more tumbles, I have 15 energy left and I decide to rest up. I like to move to the left. Gone. Okay. I move to the right and I find a chicken. Did I just find a random chicken, did I? Bok bok bok? Hey pal, what's wrong? Are you lost? Cock-a-doodle-doo. You're an adventurer and broke your... I'm conversing with a chicken. You're an adventurer and you broke your compass. That sure explains how you got lost. I agreed to make this good-looking rooster a new compass. I need steel though, and beyond the swamp I could find that resource. I move further to the right, and I find a chest with a few nice things. I travel further north through this treacherous swampland, and I find a fella called Scythe. He's worked on a new tool for himself, which will bear his name, and he wants to use it to help him clear these swamplands. Speaking of which, I fell through another hole, so I had the chance to make this requested tool. It's day 13 by this point, and the second day I've currently spent trying to navigate the swamp. I deliver old boy Scythe to him, but he's not happy with it. The blade is fine, but there is something wrong with the wood. He bets the wood I used didn't come from the swamp. He's right, I didn't know that was a requirement. Back I go. But I make sure to chop down some of this special wood along the way. However, I don't have a recipe for a special scythe, but I just interchange the two wood types and the minigame responds. Both tools seem identical. One has a little purple sticker as well, but looks like I could maybe guess recipes in the future without actually knowing the requirements. I'm gonna have to explore that later. For now, here's your special order: Scythe, Keeper of the Curved Blade and Lawnmower of the Land. Speaking of this land, I finally cross it and I get to a house on the other side. A creepy looking house on long wooden beams. I mean, yeah, keep your abode high above the terrain to keep yourself dry. It is quite elevated. I spend a few moments scaling this ladder. I'm glad I'm not afraid of heights. Inside, I see or hear no one, just a plant with a face, which I promptly snag for myself. Why? I don't know, I could pick it up. Also this rug. Why am I stealing? Okay, sure. Yeah, just go with it. Downstairs is a dining table. I can place Bill or Ben the flower pot man on this chair. Okay, am I gonna have to recreate something? Maybe. Best grab everything I see, including those red shoes. There's a chimney shaft here that's jerry-rigged to be an elevator, but I can't climb into it myself. There's another pair of red shoes and a bed with 9 mattresses on the left. I then accidentally slap this rug on the table, and I start to understand that maybe I need to be setting the dining table. I climb down. I find more red cloppers and a candle once I make a small tiger leap of faith. I find what looks to be dishes and I ask the question. Am I setting the table for someone? Why am I setting the table? No idea, just keep grabbing everything you see, lad. Good golly almighty, I am just pillaging and moving everybody's stuff. Sure, we'll move this chair. Maybe this chair needs to go into the elevator. What can I do here? Yeah, I can see the portrait here. Okay, so this purple chair needs to go up, does it? Before going back up, I see a shoe cabinet, and I start slapping all these shoes I've absconded with back to where they belong, I guess. There's an assembly table here, so I will have to craft something then. There's no need to craft the plates, I just set the table with them. I push this little table into a crevice, which then creates a flat floor, so I'm free to drag this purple chair across and send it on its merry way, but not before using it to get that little wooden puppet and some shoes first. There we go, nice. Very nice indeed. And I use that same chair to get all the bits and pieces up here. In this chest I find some goodies, and my first steel ingots actually. There's also a recipe from Mr. Woodman in here, so yeah, that wooden door I saw before in the picture needs to be assembled, as well as this candelabra. Before that, I throw this last pair of shoes in this cabinet, and I get a pair of shoes back? Wait, what? Anyways, here's the candelabra, as well as 2/3 of Pinocchio, as he's missing his legs. What a fascinating game. Yeah, I didn't expect to do a puzzle like this in this game. Moving on, I've assembled the dining table as was displayed in that picture, and when I do, I hear a noise from downstairs. A ghost? Sure, I'll talk to Mr. See-Through there. Sorry, it's my first time meeting a ghost. Not quite sure what to do, but apparently I've been invited to dinner. A long story short here, this ethereal fella asks me a series of questions. The first one, that he likes to get his beauty sleep on 9 mattresses. He likes to collect red shoes, and his best friend is a teddy bear that's at the dining table right now. Glad we had this little game. We are friends, I guess. I'm going to be leaving now. When I get outside, I see the house has magically shifted out of my way. I'm clear to move on to the next area. Nothing like a little camping session to ease my weariness. I also give these red shoes to Oxy. He looks like the Grumble from Our Real Monsters. On the morrow, when I interact with my anvil, I see I've unlocked the steel tier of goods. After making one steel thing, I was able to make the compass that chicken wanted, which I give to him and he's able to continue on with his journey. I resume with mine, but I bump into this fella up here and he responds with 100. I bump into him again and he counts down. To speed up the process, I just started spam clicking him and he counts faster. But I lose interest. I need to go northwest and that guy leads east, so I'm gonna leave him for now. I find a fella small in stature who's hoisted up his horse. His story? He's stolen children's socks. Yup, that's fair, and he's in full getaway mode right now. Unfortunately, his companion's horseshoes broke and he can't continue. His car is missing a wheel pretty much. I need to make 4 steel horseshoes for Muffin, which is his horse's name. I agree to do this. He has provided me with the recipe, but I currently don't have enough steel on me. However, I get the idea to break down the boulders in this new section, and they do have steel ore for me. This isn't how you get steel, but in this game, it absolutely is, so I'm not gonna question it. I can also buy steel ingots from this traveling merchant, which is appreciated but not required. I chuck the steel ores in my furnace and off we go. I go ahead and make the horseshoes I need for Allmate. His name is Sneaky Kyle. Let's not mention the name Sneaky Sam. And he gives me a note? Actually, it's a Sneaky Society document that says I can be trusted by his brotherhood. Okay, I'm sure that this will come in handy alongside the sneaky ring I procured in a slightly different manner. Speaking of that ring, he mentioned that I need to slot in that particular ring, if I had one, into the keyhole to the cave of their hideout. Okay, duly noted, lad. I explore under the cover of darkness and I see something here. Turns out it's another ox, a female ox, and my particular companion has become enamored, and clearly I need to be his wingman. But Oxy moves aggressively at me. He needs to present her with a bouquet of flowers, specific flowers that I need to find. Somehow he's given me a recipe for which ones. Speaking of my to-do list, I see my destination to the north, but I get distracted by what looks like musical instruments. I see all these instruments need some kind of thing to be repaired, but I also see one of the flowers I need for Oxy. I am intrigued by this musical band, so I go ahead and make all the little bits and pieces that I need. Once I get back and put all the parts where they need to go, we have ourselves a wonderful little dance party to send off the night. I explored all of this area, as I wanted to before going to my destination. I find an oinker over here yelling something about cooking. Indeed, Flapjack, as is his name, is freaking out about what seems to be on the menu, or specifically, that he can't make it. He needs a spatula, as his spoon just won't do the trick. I didn't even have to make this one, I already had one for some reason. Piglet is very happy with this new cooking utensil. He's ready to make a round of his speciality, and says I should stop by to buy some. I just might do that. I see that he sells a variety of pancake type things. And moving on, I enter Malima where I had to go meet Opal. Speak of the devil, he rocks up at the exact same time from that giant lift up above. He says that he was impressed with that chandelier I made for Mr. Roby Boy earlier. I tell him that I was happy with the work, and he responds with, "That's good, but it's always nice to work harder and strive for new heights of quality." He suspects that we have a common goal in this, that I want to become a master blacksmith. He offers me financial stability. He will fund my endeavors and help me rebuild style, which is a very kind gesture. But what's the catch? Asks my guy. No catch, no trick. All he wants is for me to earn this by proving that I am indeed the best blacksmith. I think I'm the only blacksmith. But to do this, I need to complete the Artisan's Gauntlet, which is an ancient tradition here on Elian, a way to prove my skill through a series of challenges in the hopes of achieving masterhood. I need to travel the island and visit each village, and I need to complete a test designed by each of the village chieftains to meet their expectations and earn a token. Once I've completed all the challenges, I need to bring the tokens back here to prove my worth. And only then will Opal fund my creative endeavors. I'll become the chief of style and all will be well. I'm in, but this was a kind gesture. A little too kind if you ask me, but meh, it's probably just me. Onwards, I need to go see Peregrine to the east of here in the Hunter's Village. He mentioned I've already proven myself to Myrtle in the Lumberjack Village, so okay, that's one down already. And thus, I have started the Artisan's Gauntlet. Now, while I'm here, I speak to a few villagers, specifically this good boy Doggo. Turned out his name is Milo, and as I read the achievements before starting this game, the name rang a bell for me. I continued to pet him a few times, and I get an achievement for this. So, I did get that one, but there's another reason why you pet this good boy Doggo, which I'll discover later. I then speak to Boulder here, that challenges me to hold my breath as long as I could. I give it a go, and I clearly do this incorrectly. Boulder is, not impressed. I give it a second go, and I understand the mini game now. I smash the F button. The longer I stay down, the harder it becomes, but yeah, almost 47 seconds. Now Mr. Dwarf here is impressed, so much so he gives me a flower. A very pretty flower he calls it, one which I discovered I need for Oki's bouquet. He says that if I do it again, he will continue to reward me. So okay, I go and do it again, but I get 45 seconds this time. He's impressed enough to say that whenever I need a gatherer in my town, I should look him up. In fact, if I build a gatherer's hut and stall, he will move right in. Okay, this sounds good to me. I'm heading to the east and expected to see that counting fella. He's gone now, actually. I wonder what would have happened if I made him count down before, but I'm sure someone will let me know in the comments. I also see that when I go into the next zone, the fog closes in all around me very badly. I decide to set up camp first and move in during the daytime, which I do, and I see Bowie, possibly the one who I saw before. He needs help. He's a little fella and he's playing hide and seek with his siblings. They're better at this than he is and he wants assistance. I need to find 3 little scamps. So I blindly go through the fog in this area and I find one little champ. I accidentally run into a cave and I collect my fill of iron and steel ore while I'm in here, which makes me think I could probably make myself steel tools now. As I'm going through this cave, I have a oh crap moment. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Good lord, okay, fair enough. Risking life and limb, I find a chest with some goodies. I find my first Damascus items in here. The cave has a few codes painted around and I make sure to take note of them. I try to drop a crate on this bad thing down below, but that didn't work. I was pushing this crate to the left and I wanted to use it to climb back up. That's all I can remember. Ah, damn it, it got me. Yep, luckily I respawned at the entrance. I decided I wanted to go find those kids first and maybe make myself some steel tools. I didn't have the recipes for the steel versions however, but I decided to try and make them. I simply made the iron pickaxe, but instead of iron, I changed the materials to the exact type of steel replacements. I was correct, this works. You can actually guess the recipes in this game, which is pretty cool, which means I can make any higher tools as soon as I have the materials, not the knowledge of the tool, as I already know what the blueprint looks like. I'm crafting nails again the next day when I finally read that obvious text at the bottom. Stack items to create bulk items, is that right? There you go. There you go, and craft 100 items. Well done. Who are the creators of this game? They've really thought of the little things too. Because I was wondering, I'm like, yeah, the making of things was still a bit tiresome. There you go. I just had to read down the bottom apparently. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of this game, actually. You also heard an achievement back there. Craft 100 items. Don't ask, I was using the wrong recording file setup, which recorded the gaming screen, thank God, but not the Steam one, so for some of my sessions, my achievements didn't show up. I'm only seeing that now in the scripting stage. Anyways, I go and dodge that battle on this occasion. I see more code paintings, but I don't have enough codes. I get to this locked gate that has a lovely trapdoor below me, and only after I drop did I see the next few codes I was missing. The bastards made it that you had to fail before you could succeed. In fact, all the other ones I saw before were all dummies just to mess with my head. So after a little bit, I successfully break on through to the other side, and I help myself to some more ores because I could. I'm on the other side and I can see where I need to go, but from this position I can also see where the other kid was. It made me feel compelled to go back and get him before moving on to the next village. So I go back and I tackle him. I accidentally find a random chest full of nice things, and a little time later I find the last scamp. As thanks, Bowie gives me something which will help me travel at night time, which is something I will be able to use to upgrade my wagon, I think. I do take a squiz. The little fella gave me a lantern scroll, so I just need a few other things to get this upgrade. So a short while later I get the lantern port upgrade for my mobile forge. It's not nighttime yet, but when one is in a new area, you have to gather all the resources, so I start some deforestation. The village is on the right there, and I go and say hello to some random inhabitant. Hey buddy, hey little... I just said hey buddy, and this guy's like, hey little buddy, what can I help you with? Buddy here starts to tell me that Old Boy Perry might be somewhere in the village. In fact, that's him walking past right now with the bird on his hand. I don't see him yet, but I do see another notice board with a bunch of requests. There's a bunch of Damascus and steel orders, so it looks like I need to move upwards in the metal world. After that, I finally find the Birdman. Well, let's be polite, I guess. His name is Peregrine, and oh boy does he have a challenge for me. He wants me to build them a lost technology that their ancestors used. Am I familiar with falconry, a preferred hunting method, a sacred relationship between bird and hunter, he says. His task for me is to create a metal hunting bird of old. I'm not familiar with how their old hunting birds look like, but he suggests that I should speak to the villagers and gather some clues on how I should make this request. This big bear looking fella, also known as Bear, says that he could potentially help me. Scratch his back and he will scratch mine. He wants a pair of knives. It's the same story here with the sharp looking fella called Arrow, and you can guess what he's asking me to make for him. Then there's Fawn here, who looks like a deer of some sort, and she wants a fishing rod, which is not related to her name whatsoever. So a few things I can do for people, and I should get the information I need then. This journal of mine is looking pretty chockers, I have to be honest. At least I get the recipes from the people for the things they want me to make, like this fishing rod. I hammer and grind and work towards becoming a master craftsman. Daggers are a stepping stone towards that goal, and so are 3 individual arrows, which I give to this fella. He gives me a recipe that will help me in my task. Bear says that I need a mechanical heart for this bird I want to create, though that's it, and that Fawn will have more information for me. She does say that the mechanical heart is an artifact used by ancient artisans to breathe life into the creations. Tvastar knew how to make those mechanical hearts before disappearing. One of them is said to be buried under a tree to the north of here. Before that, I'm getting recipes left, right and center. This one is unique. It teaches me how to mold Damascus steel. I need this knowledge to create this metal bird, which also has a mechanical heart in the center there, I think. I then get a mining cart recipe for a job I did, and this thing looks pretty complicated. The fella wants 3 of them for over 2,000 gold, which sounds bloody amazing. However, I look at it again and I realize that I can't make the sturdy wheels for this thing, as I don't know the recipe. I mean, I could guess, but yeah, nah, that ain't happening. Plus, in-game me hadn't realized that he had to use that Damascus billet mentioned before to actually make the Damascus. A mechanical heart is something else I need, and I was told it was buried in the north. That lonely tree up there looks mighty suspicious. It took a few moments of things popping up, but I did see something weird go into my inventory, so I need to make this mechanical bird thing. I also luckily and accidentally pinned a recipe for the first time. Oh, does that actually activate it, put it there? Oh, that is appreciated. I was in too much shock to say it, but yes, I can pin recipes there. It is so much easier to follow then. I have been writing them down or memorizing them. Plus, if you simply click the recipe while looking at the assembly table, it pulls in all the materials it needs to create the thing you clicked on. I don't think I realized this part just yet. So that is one thing I have discovered. Damascus still eluded me, even though I stared at the recipe for a few moments. I guess I thought I was supposed to mine Damascus somewhere else, because I wasn't fully switched on to the fact that it was a blend of iron and steel. So it's the next day, and I'm just fluffing around really. But it's nice to have the recipes pinned, so I can easily make things like these 3 spears. I gave the spears to Mr. Arrow here. He was going to make a ballista, so it makes sense to use a much bigger arrow. I then finally looked at the Damascus billet again. I go ahead and put together this recipe. It's pieces of iron and steel welded together. It can be smelted into Damascus. So I try it and voila, I have finally figured out how to smelt Damascus steel in this game. The smelting of this wonderful metal is an achievement to behold. So next I go ahead and make 20 billets. I slap all the required pieces in, so I do this all at the same time. But I decided to go ham and I make 100 because why not? All mini games follow the same basic rules, but I'll say that the higher the metal, the faster this particular hammer moves, which makes this game a little bit harder. Regardless, I have finally figured out how to make this metal bird, and I'm quite happy with it. Unfortunately, Peregrine is not happy with it. He says although it's a nice creation, it's devoid of all life. It's missing a glow, like it's been imbued by the fire of a legendary blacksmith. I believe I knew what this fellow was after. I had to go all the way home to Tvastar's legendary smelter. So I start this long journey. I gather resources along the way. I observe the local fauna. The native landscape swallows me whole. That chicken has done absolutely nothing, just like Tvastar's old smelter. I can't interact with it. I remembered I grabbed the ember in there, which I gave to Dreisten, who gave me more tools because I'm in a pinch apparently. And he used that ember to upgrade my forge, which is currently smelting Damascus. I realize here that my home forge and my mobile one must be connected, which is quite nice. Now after I put my lifeless metal bird in here, I come to a realization that yes, this is how I make this thing look alive, but also this forge and my mobile forge are the same, meaning I could have just slapped this chunk of metal into my mobile smelter while I was all the way up at the Vox village, meaning I came down here for absolutely no reason. So I retraced my steps. I fell into another abyss in the swamp while the chicken probably laughed at me. I ran back past all these ores that are now empty. Some prick must have recently mined them up. What an animal. I observed that this is also some sort of animal, and this particular animal is also a prick. He takes a look, and apparently he lost a bet because he waged that I wouldn't be able to do this challenge. Well, the next stage is a village called Lupal far to the south. I like going south. It feels like you're going downhill. Before moving on, I give Oxy a green beret hat. I got it from Arrow before, for making those projectiles of the same name, and I'm only now slapping it on Oxy's noggin. Farmer Beat here has had a run-in with a few bad apples. They wanted his treasure map. He refused to hand it over, so they released all his chickens from their pen. I go ahead and I round up all his little cluckies, and after about 5 minutes of this, I've completed this endeavor. BT here is quite pleased, and he gives me his ancestor's treasure map. He was never able to find it, and he's happy to hand it over to me. I take a squiz at it. It seems like it's just outside a yellow box thing and buried under some marked soil that's about 4 tiles down. These 2 locations look correct. Long story short, I didn't find the treasure. I might need a shovel or something. I was perusing my recipes tab thing in the morning, trying to see if one of these unknown items could be a shovel or a spade, but I didn't see anything that looked right at this time. I gave up a short while later on this treasure, and I saunter on down south where I encounter a huge stretch of beach. Now past me didn't notice this, but when I chopped down this log thing, something I got there was a recipe. I'm breaking down these rocks and stuff, and I get sand, another type of stone, and even gold coins, which is appreciated. I'll investigate this other stone later. For now, I see a shipwreck there, but from the looks of this, I'm surrounded by an ocean. I'm as far south as I can go, and at that exact moment, I have found a scroll. Items slowly get added into my inventory, so I have no idea where this came from. So I just said that I was surrounded by the ocean, and the scroll is for the floating hull upgrade. I remembered you can add this to your mobile forge. It's right here, and I need a compass and some nails to make this, and I quickly put it all together. I stare intently at this upgrade until it becomes a reality. Tell me, how is this ox going to cart me over the ocean? I've got to see this. Well, to be fair, I never see Oxy on the world map view, so try and use your imagination of an ox doing the butterfly or something. It also mentioned there that I needed a different hull to loot this shipwreck, That's for later, I guess, and I have made landfall on the southern island shortly later. I see the town of Lupal down there, but I'm too busy pillaging everything in sight. I then follow the shallows, because I was curious on how far I can travel. Note, I can't traverse the deep ocean parts of the ocean just yet, but I can actually get to Stull, which is my hometown by the way, within a minute, which is really fast. I'm back at Sandy Town and doing some general exploring, and I find something very interesting. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. What did I just find here? I found an absolute bounty. From this chest, I found a lot of recipes. One for a steel pipe, ancient decanter, ancient separatory funnel, ancient burner, and an ancient beaker. Wow, I don't know what any of this stuff is or if it's good or not, but I found it, and I'm very pleased with that. Well, that was a hell of a good find. With such a lucky find, I decided to light my campfire and turn in for the night. I enter Lupel on the morning of day 25. Naturally, no one talks to me, so I need to find Arcana first. However, the vendors are always welcoming. What else is wonderful news is that this fella sells potions. This one in particular I can use to teleport home. There's a few others here. One for an energy boost, this one to slow tiredness, another that makes me a better salesman, or this one that makes me very good at smithing for a short while. But it's time to get on with the task. I find Arcana here, who has been expecting me. She hopes my head hasn't grown too big, because she doubts I'll pass this next test. Love, don't worry about it, I got this. Arcana informs me that they are all alchemists. They brew potions at a specific spot, deeply connected to the energies of the natural world. But due to harsh conditions and the disappearance of Tvastar, the place turned to ruin and repairs could not be made. So indeed, my challenge is to fix this old brewing location. But she says I'm going to need lost scrolls containing alembic designs. My fella asks where these designs might be, and Arcana just says, try finding them in the ruins close to the location. I'm gonna be honest, I think she's referring to that chest I found last night by accident. Anyhow, I can now talk to the others. This mage looking fellow who's upset that he came all this way and the other more senile mage inside won't let him in. Apparently Zosimus here is too young and immature. He still needs to prove his wizardly knowledge. He was asked to go find a lost scroll. He's not pleased with this task of playing fetch. I offer to give him a lost scroll if I ever come across one in my travels. While I'm doing that, apparently he will stay right here and he will continue to bang on the door. I think he does fit the description of immature. Cucurbits. What a name. She's looking for a glass bottle, so I get the idea that glass is going to be the next smithing tier. Glass making is not really metalworking, says my fella, but I can give it a go. She informs me that sand, limestone and potash is used to make glass. I can find those resources breaking down rocks and stuff in the area, which is what I must have been finding before I got here. Cheers for the tip. Newton here needs new glass lenses for his telescope, so yep, this place is all about the glass. I got the glass can recipe, and I've done this before with the Damascus. I won't be stuck for a few days trying to figure out how to smelt glass. But goodness me, I've never seen people use a glass pickaxe before, or even a wood cutting axe. But sure, whatever, I will do my best to complete all these requests. I see a tower down south. Looks like another puzzle room type thing. I break down some of the rubble here, and it looks like another one of those flowers I needed for Oxy's bouquet. I further scale the tower, breaking down whatever I see. I find a note with a 1-letter code, so I will likely have to open something at the top, but that's gonna have to wait. I don't have a knife to cut down this box, meaning I can't ascend any further today. But I do see a portrait up there. A dragon accosting a city from the looks of it. Never mind that, I now see a location to enter on the left here. It's like a Stonehenge kind of place, and I find a journal on the ground here. The description of this thing says it's an abandoned journal that was left at the old alchemist ritual place. Okay then, I'm gonna paraphrase entry 41. Whoever studied this area has so for many moons. They believe they have figured out the original designs that were used to make this ancient alchemy spot operable. The next step was to head down south to the beach and wait for someone who could take them back to their hometown. Well, as I climb all over this place, I can safely say, yeah, I've probably found that stash of designs. I can also interact with each arch here, so yeah, I need to assemble something here. This chest was indeed that bounty, so I have what I need to do this. However, day 26 was recorded 4 days later in real time, and I had slightly forgotten what I was doing. I did remember that I needed a knife for that tower. I break down more surrounding countryside for resources to make sand. Speaking of which, I test one out, and I'm delighted I learned from my Damascus debacle before. I'm gonna need more than what I gathered, so I go ahead and buy all the base resources from this fella. I see buying it is quickly going to bankrupt me, but oh well. But buying 99 sand quickly raises an eyebrow because it costs me nothing? I had left and come back again, so the guy's stocks were filled up, but that's not why I came back. I suspected something. I buy sand for 0 gold. It's free, but I can sell him sand for 1 gold each. Am I understanding you right, Mr. Shopkeeper man? That's cheating. Oh, that is so cheating, I say to this fella. I mean, I'll be cheating him. Now, will I actually be doing this? Yeah, maybe later, but for now, I had bought enough resources to make 80 glass things to be smelted. I just have to wait for them to do that, which may take a bit. I only have 17 ready when I wake up. I helped speed this process. Past me still didn't realize at this point that every time he hits the green marker, I get 2 bars for the price of 1 ore. Get it in the red area and only smelts that current ore with no bonus. So I have a lump sum of glass, and I look at all the materials. All I remember with the glass was that sometimes it was difficult to tell the blunt glass pieces apart from the sharpened pieces. So when I tried to make this hatchet, for example, I got a hammer instead. They both use that same 2x2 slab, but one is sharpened and the other is not, of course. Other than preparing some job orders, I really start to look at my storage situation. It is so cluttered. I need to do a cleanup soon. A quick side note, look how fast the hammer moves when I'm shaping the glass. It is really quite quick. I hand in any orders I completed this day to make a little bit of bank. And I also start to sell random junk I just didn't want in my inventory anymore, some of which is failed glass projects. I then decided to be a filthy cheater. How could I not? It's calling my name. I can actually do this transaction with the fella as many times as I want. So imagine I have a full stack of sand, which is 999, and I keep cheating. I could score thousands of gold, which sounds like a steal. Quite literally. I head back to that tower with the knife this time, and I continue to ascend it, finding the code letters along the way, of course. I realign some platforms to create an even walking surface, but atop I see a large treasure chest, and my own storage is still a mess. I back away and I go and give it a proper clean out, and I go ahead and sell everything I don't need, all tools and even bulk materials I made way back when, because now that I think about it, I can make things in bulk, so I don't really need to keep a stash of anything. So under the cover of darkness, I return to this tower, and there's an altar I can interact with, and a note here. The note says that whoever explored this place before, they felt a little robbed. They are certain that the altar here is connected to the cryptics they found in the tower. However, they can't repair the mechanism. The cryptics has been left in a chest on my left with a code, and anyone able to crack it should be able to solve this mystery. Well, luckily I found all those codes along the way. I am currently pilfering this chest. I find a recipe for this cryptics thing, as well as all the pieces that go with it. Before that, I go and visit Mr. Sandman. Or am I the Sandman? I have over 500 now, as I periodically buy more from him to add to my own stash, to sell back to him for a profit, only for him to give it back to me free of charge. I am a complete scoundrel. I had assembled the cryptics thing and came back at night. The altar wouldn't accept it during the day, which was weird. Regardless, I got a few things, a oval glass shield recipe, and a scroll about some history. I'm gonna paraphrase here. Long ago, dragons roamed the skies. They were revered guardians of Elyon, and because the land had some grand defenders, the inhabitants were able to focus on their crafts and such. This is ringing a bell. The dragons had a secret in their bones. When meeting their natural end, these colossal creatures would head underground to decay into radiant and rare ore, only known as adamas. The ore was important, and to safeguard Elyon, the dragons kept this a secret. As time passed, more dragons joined their ancestors deep underneath the towering mountains of Elyon. Thus, slowly, the dragons and the adamas started to fade from the collective memory, and for the time being, Elyon has remained a safe haven for craftsmen to work their professions. That is all very interesting, and I head back to the alchemy ritual place. After fluffing around for a bit, I conclude that these are the things that I need to make. It had been some time between recordings, and I had forgotten what I was supposed to do. Before I get too deep into that, I hand over that scroll of very important information about dragons to Mr. Mature here. He's done being immature, however, and decides it's time to move on to bigger things. He is a real mage, without that old man's approval. He invites himself over to my place. I'm going to be a legendary blacksmith, and all might considers himself a legendary wizard. Okay, sure. I need to make him a place to stay, and he will move in. Same with Boulder, actually, from that mining camp. Maybe I need to go back home and do some of those town upgrades. It's the next morning, and I'm buying some bits and pieces, and of course, casually cheating, as you do. When I see something alarming, I see that mysterious scroll I gave to Mr. Legendary Wizard in the merchant's inventory. It's the same scroll, which really raises a question. Did I accidentally sell this scroll to him, or did this prick sell it to them? Oh my god. Do I want this fellow in my village? If I give him like a rare scroll with very valuable information, and he goes and he sells it to the merchant like 10 steps to his left, his right, sorry, you know what I mean. Goodness me, what a prick. What an absolute prick. Yeah, what an animal. Anyways, back to my challenge. I have 4 separate ancient things to make. They're all quite complicated, and I study the recipes well, so I can do them all at the same time. That's the ancient beaker, so that's one down. The sun goes down next, and I'm working up a sweat at my anvil. But then I rediscover that nice perk for the assembling table. And then the last thing, the ancient decanter. No. Really? Can you do that? Oh my god, that is amazing. Oh my god, that's amazing. It's nice how you discover little things like this. So I want to make this ancient decanter. Just click on it. If I have all the resources, it'll do it for me, and we can go, yep, assemble. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty nice. I like that. Yeah, the game has a lot of neat tricks, I'm a big fan of it. Robbing the locals is also a nice perk to this game, clearly cheating, but it's so damn easy. On to my task. I see that I need to assemble each of these, what turns out to be giant machines in a correct order. I'm not an alchemist, so I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm just slapping these things down willy-nilly and seeing if it's correct. I think this is right. I mean, it looks right, doesn't it? The quest log says to return to Arcana, so yeah, sure, let's head back. And I tell her the good news, it's all fixed. Arcana is suspicious of my achievement. For one, she didn't even think I'd find the recipes to make this thing, but here we are, I followed someone else's footsteps. She then talks to herself, despite the fact I can hear her. I was not supposed to succeed. This was intended to be impossible. My fella politely interjects, hey, I can hear you. Yes, I really am that good, thank you very much. She has an idea. She wants to make sure it's really fixed. I need to go see Cucurbits and ask her for ingredients to make a potion. She said potion with a delay, which was really odd. But I need to test this alembic with the ingredients I'm to be provided. I go and see whatever her name is, and she says she has prepared the ingredients to run the test. Just slap them into the left machine and it'll do its magic. She then says something off-putting. Only her and Arcana have access to these ingredients for the potion, but she left it out during the night. But it shouldn't be a problem. The desert gets really cold at night and everyone is in their homes sleeping. No way they've been tampered with. Why are you telling me this? This is such a strange thing to say. I'm heading back to the contraption, but her dialogue really lingered in my head. Am I being set up? Even Arcana has been acting suspicious to me, but when I interact with the alembic machine, my suspicions are confirmed. This is a turning point in the story. Are you sure you want to proceed? Well, no, I don't want to proceed. Yeah, I climbed down and I thought to myself, if the game is about to shift, I'd rather go do some things. Most notable would be upgrading my town and such. So I bugger off and I put the main storyline on hold. The fact that the game informs you that things are about to change, I can both appreciate and kind of not appreciate. Yes, I'm given a heads up to go and do things I always wanted to do, like town upgrades, but it also confirmed my suspicions that I was being set up, and it would have been more impactful if I didn't know. Well, it is what it is. I'm taking advantage of the locals again when I see that exact same scroll in this fella's inventory, as well as another alembic testing kit. I guess the game puts important storyline items in vendors' inventory in case the player loses them. I also read the description of the potion, a collection of ingredients with a weird thing in it. Oh yep, I'm being set up. I'm gonna let that happen later. For now, I do head back home, and I see old boy Dreisten. For goodness sake, the dialogue for him is always, I'm in a pinch, and he gives me tools again. tools which I'll sell later. I peruse my town upgrades and I decide what I want to get. The stables looks good. I get an extra chest for more storage it seems, so I hammer and grind what I need for it. I needed pancakes, and instead of visiting Porky up north, I remembered I had these 2 fresh ones festering in my chest, which was from Porky way back when anyways I think. I stare intently at this upgrade and my screen starts to shake, and from the earth a new stable arises. I see these 2 chests, and I believe my mobile forge will now have these 2 as well. I've doubled my inventory space, which is good news for me. The next house upgrade will improve my bed's comfort. It adds a floor with a piggy bank, hell yes. It specifically says to keep my coins safe. Look at this majestic castle looking thing spring up from the ground. I was about to head inside when I accidentally speak to an old man who proceeds to gift me more tools. God damn it. I delete them this time. Now inside, I live like a king. There's an elevator and I can use it to go up a floor. The piggy bank specifically says keep my coins safe in case something happens to me on the road. My god, is something going to happen to me? The next forge upgrade will allow me to skip some mini games, and it offers more control over my anvil hammer. I try this out and my god, it's amazing to do this mini game with control over the hammer. It's a hell of a time saver. I'm a huge fan. Past me has something to say. I am really enjoying this game, if I'm completely honest. This is the Gatherer's Hut. Unlock a gatherer in your village that will be able to gather iron and steel for free. Oh my goodness gracious, bring that guy over here. You've recruited Boulder to your village. Hey buddy, that's not Boulder, is it? Correct, that's not Boulder, but other randoms. Looks like the bigger the town becomes, more residents move in. I didn't build those houses in the back there, but here is Boulder. He's loving the new place I had made for him. He says that if I make him tools, he can mine rarer resources and more of them, which sounds pretty good to me. Mage Tower 1, and it also unlocks a potion shop in my village. It looks pretty magnificent. And yes, I can see that same potion vendor from Lupel is here, as well as with the same stock. Zosimus is liking his new abode. He's gonna need a bit of time before he's settled in and ready to help me. He will be able to enchant my tools it seems. Also, as I'm running around here, my town has significantly grown overnight. It must have been the Gatherer's Hut and the Mage Tower that I built which expanded the size of the village. There are so many people running around in the background. Moving on, I send Boulder out to go gather some steel and iron for me, and I also make another mistake. Hey buddy, no, I'm not in a pinch. Don't ask him for... God damn it. I don't need this, mate. Stop asking him for bloody tools. It's like I never want to speak to this guy again, because every time I do, he's like, oh, I need tools. It's like, you really don't. Yeah, dialogue with Dreisten has become a pain, but I move on, making things I need to further upgrade the village buildings. Mage Tower 2, and Zosimus will be able to enchant an item for me, which I'm looking forward to. With Boulder's second level hut, he can gather limestone, sand, and potash for me. Those were the ingredients for the glass, by the way. However, I see that with his next upgrade, I need to provide the fella with a submarine. Wow, that is awesome, but that's also beyond me for now. I see my forge has a mailbox. Boulder has in fact sent me some iron and steel in the mail, which is hugely appreciated. The amount is in single digits, but I believe he will get me more later. For now, he can go and get me some more glass ingredients. Mr. Wizard here has a new service, which is enchanting, as I said. He intently looks at my axe, and when he's done, it's stronger and worth more, which is pretty nice. I don't know about the durability, but I can see this one, which has a purple circle, is worth 460 gold as opposed to 400, so yeah, that's pretty nice. I deposit 10 times that amount in my piggy bank. It was the casual phrasing of something could happen to you on the road, and I took that personally, so I will protect my hard-earned cash. I get Magey Boy to enchant several of my tools, free of cash of course. I mean, to be honest, he has been given a nice place to live here free of charge. Fair is fair. I then look at my quest log and I still have a few random jobs from way back when that I never did and which are annoying me. Well, I didn't know how to make a bucket. Funny enough, I still need to figure this out. I travel outside. The village hasn't changed from this perspective, but I can see Boulder running like the wind towards the desert to get me sand of course. Anyhows, I make a couple of the basic things for those random jobs, a spatula and an iron skillet pan being a few of them. I deliver them and I clean up my journal a bit. I'm glad I did this because my reward for one of those tasks was the recipe to make a metal bucket. So you best believe I made those containers of many possible liquids. I'm delivering a pan to someone. No idea who though and where, so I visit some towns. Funny enough, I see Boulder is still here. He's also in my village. What an interesting fellow. So after a bit of a run around, I've done all the tasks I currently can. That cart mining one is beyond me. I don't have the recipe for wheels yet. I found a cave in the northwest. From the first impression, it looks very welcoming. It says that I'm missing a key item. Memories come flooding back to me. So I ran all the way back home, retrieved that sneaky ring that I got from some sneaky guy that perished by accident somehow in the iron mines next to Stahl. I used this to open the gate, and because I could, this is indeed the sneaky hideout. Inside, I find a fella who immediately notices me and threatens me with his sick moves if I don't leave. But don't you dare come back, he says, especially at nighttime when he's probably asleep and not paying attention. Well, maybe I don't need to be stealthy. I have that sneaky note I got from sneaky thief Kyle who robbed children, and I had to fix his horse problem once upon a time. Maybe that paper will suffice, but just in case, I decide to nap until nighttime regardless. So under the cover of darkness, just as that bear plants himself on his chair to hibernate like that aforementioned mammal, I saunter on by as if I own the place. I embrace my own stealthy tendencies to avoid flying bats, which clearly work for the sneaky organization. Well, yeah, as soon as it sees me, it learns to talk, yell even, and it declares me an intruder, at which point I get kicked out. Okay. Not just once, by the way, they see me several times. But I eventually get down the stairs and I steal away with any resources I can find, as well as a chest full of goodies. These recipes are a bunch of steel items, which is appreciated. I didn't have many steel things in my knowledge bank. But at the furthest point down, I can pick up another flower, which is for Oxy Boy and his bouquet of flowers that he wants to give to his potential girlfriend. I slap this thing together, but Orway wants me to give the flowers to the cow, because he's shy. Okay, sure, I can do that. Why am I giving flowers to an ox? Hey, my handsome ox friend over there wants me to give this to you. Oh dear, she's allergic, and she stomps off in a huff. I am so sorry, buddy. My bad. But trust me, there's plenty of ox in the ocean. How do you convey hope to an ox without using the fish in the ocean phrase? There's plenty of ox in the field. Yeah, that'll do. I explore the rest of the night, lifting as many clouds of uncertainty on the map. But it's time to move on with the game, I think. I slink into my bed like a master craftsman would, and I get a good night's sleep. I admire the way Star looks in the morning. I didn't know if I was able to come back here because the game prompt said before that a huge change is going to happen. I wasn't taking any chances, so I employed daylight robbery on Oldmate here, and I deposited another 10,000 just to be sure. I wanted something I could fall back on in case everything goes downhill. I'm sure everything will be fine. I'm so honest with the shopkeepers. A good karma will surely be my reward. So finally, here's the turning point. Okay, this is a turning point in the story. Are you sure you want to proceed? Yep, let's confirm this. Watch this thing blow up, I guess. What's gonna happen? Can I move? No. Oh dear. Jesus. Oh, is that another explosion? Caught in another explosion. This is sabotage. Oh my head, I can't believe I got caught in an explosion again. Yep, I got caught in another explosion. I got an achievement for it. I knew I was being set up. My situation right now, I'm stuck in a ravine. Just me and everything that's on me. Oxy is somewhere else. I hope he can get home. At least I have some tools on me, as well as some base resources. I start to cut down random things here, maybe for a campfire or something. Speaking of which, there's a campfire right here. I enter the location, light the fire, and I reassess my situation. I am at this random location, and it has all the tools and equipment I usually have. Convenient, I guess. Wait, is that all my equipment? That is definitely my smelter's blue flame. Alright, I'm gonna stop asking questions about the logic here. I head west. I cross a block that has a moon icon on it, and I get into a location that looks like a maze. Oh dear. I find a chest here among the bramble bushes with a few Damascus items. This note specifies this location as Sorrow Valley. Attempt 65 is the heading, but it's just about some fellow who made Damascus armor and he wished he saved enough materials for a weapon. I'm close to that camp and I cut down a tree. Or something, but suddenly my screen goes all wonky, and unbeknownst to me, I got an extra 20 energy, but then it also quickly drains down. I didn't notice this, and luckily I jumped in this random bed before I passed out. I awake on day 38, ready to tackle this maze again. I'm mentioning the day here because I'm about to lose track of it. The reason is this: I can only traverse through this first cube thing at night time. I'm going to lose track of the days here as I will have to sleep frequently, skipping between night and day. But yeah, I'm a night walker first apparently. There's another camp in the middle-ish of this section. I go ahead and nap. I'm really going to get my rest in from the looks of it. And now I'm in the middle section during the day, free to explore here with some surprises. What the? That weird noise can only be explained by someone who has been hurtled through a portal. Another chest with some glass stuff, and another note. Attempt number 38. Glass was not his brightest idea. The sun is hitting him hard and he's starting to see things, also hear things. The previous note was attempt 65, so all meant was here for quite a bit it seems. I teleport again and explore the left hand side of this maze. Another chest, but this one has something peculiar in it. The gauntlet token for Lupal. Why? Well, I'm not gonna ask why. Arcana gave me an impossible task. Her words, remember? And I passed, only then to be sabotaged by someone. Either her or that other potion girl with a really hard to pronounce name. I use another center teleport and try my best to keep track of the day and night symbols on this door to see where I can explore and at what time. Journal entry 103. That is a lot of entries. All mate made a discovery. The plants provide a great boost of energy and quench any thirst. They also make colors look a little weird. He started seeing a strange figure appear. If the stars don't lie, it appears north of here. Interesting. Current me didn't pay attention, but this note will lead me to an achievement much later on. For now, I overindulge in some cactuses and I run into a bit of a problem. Actually appreciate it. Oh wait. Okay. Okay. I passed out. Yeah, so I passed out. Maybe those plants aren't that great. And I also lost a little bit of renown. God damn it. Now here I really lost track of the days. I'm back in the center. No idea how much time has passed. I bumble my way through this maze for a little while longer, just sleeping when I need to. And I finally make my way through this maze. And I met up with this lass on the beach. She asks me if I was involved in that explosion she heard a few days ago. Yeah, no idea what you're talking about, love. She also knows that I'm the new blacksmith. Stahl is coming back to life thanks to me. I propose I will owe you one if she gets me back home. So she does this and she gives me a lift, which is really appreciated. However, she buggers off instantly. I don't know if I see her in the playthrough again, to be honest. Home sweet home. Even Oxy has made it back here, which I'm really happy about. Have you seen Dresden? I need to talk to someone I can trust. Apparently being gifted tools over and over again qualifies you for that. Oxy says that he has left. He left? To the shipwright's village, he says. Why? He doesn't know. He got this information from Porgy, that rat who lives in the well who has also moved on. Okay, well that's a lot of movement from people I know. The conversation ends with me saying we need to go see the shipwrights of Velhelm. My responsibility at the top has changed to go after Dresden, with an exclamation mark. Why am I given the impression Dresden might be behind the sabotage, and that he's fleeing? So I said I dove into that maze by day 38 and I lost track of time. This is true, so for any scripting purposes, I'm going to say that this is day 40 now. I'm about to leave Stull and Myrtle rocks up asking me where the old fella is and that it feels like Stull has been abandoned again if he's not here when I'm out gallivanting across the countryside. Well, I'm gonna be sauntering on down to Valhelm, but before I do, Myrtle suggests I put someone in charge of the place while I'm gone. I respond that I need to find Dusty and finish off my trials. With the money I'll be getting from Opal then, I'll be able to make Stull into a glorious bastion. She doesn't know what Opal told me, but completing the trials and the gauntlet have nothing to do with becoming a master artisan. None of the other village chiefs have done these trials. Completing them doesn't make you a master artisan. Only by caring for Stull and taking care of its people will I become that. She's not saying to abandon the old man, just make sure I have someone who can help maintain the town while I'm gone. She says she may have heard of a young mage who could be that person. Wait, do you mean Zosimus, that prick who sells rare artifacts? Yep, she means him. Okay, well I talked to him next and there's no dialogue option, so I think it's fine, he's already here, as well as Boulder by the way, so yep, she'll be alright mate. Now I'm on the road and I'm thinking, I have conflicting information. Opal says I need to do these trials to become a master smith. Myrtle says, yeah nah, no need for that. Someone sabotaged my Alembic trial, and my most trusted friend has buggered off, so what the hell is going on? On another note, I discovered I can do this sand thing at any vendor who buys it, so yeah, broken oversight and I love it. I remembered Oxy said Porgy might have some information on Dresden, but he's not down here anymore, so okay, bugger it. I travel west as the shipwright's village is in that direction. I find a fellow whining about his arms. Look at his biceps, they're so small. Long story short here, the fellow forgot his dumbbells. He was in fact on his way to come see me. I say I can make him new beauties, which is what he calls dumbbells, because he's in love with himself. So I go ahead and make this Chad a few iron balls. He's very pleased with the work. Speaking of work, he's come to do that for me. He's a strongman, an adventurer, and if he can adventure in my name and spread my renown, that is going to make him happy. So I have to make sure I have a place for him back at Stull. I leave him stranded where he is. He can swim, his arms will get a good workout, and I paddle my way across the islands in the southwest. I do find the location I'm looking for. I also find a ship vendor who keeps moving around. He has a few materials, and then a few other things, like a propeller and more which you'll see later. He also carried sand in his inventory for a few brief moments. I come across new recipes for tidal tools, which sounds pretty impressive. It uses a whole glass pickaxe and then whatever the hell that is. However, it's time to enter Valhelm proper. It has a beach town vibe to it. I speak to the captain of this town, not a chief, so fair enough, and she asks me if I'm here to complete her challenge. I answer honestly, not really, I got sabotaged in my last one. She asks me to elaborate on what happened. I tell her that there was a big explosion, that I survived and managed to get home, but when I got home, Dresden was gone. Why would he do such a thing? It was very suspicious. Honestly, I wouldn't be telling anyone else this much information, but here we are. That's my character for you. Captain does say Dresden was here a few days ago. He stopped for supplies and was looking a little bit distressed, which actually sounds a bit off to me. She recommends I seek the sneakies. They always know what's going on. I was about to leave when she begs me to wait and to do her challenge. She has waited years for someone to do this. She wants to expand her knowledge of the sea. She looks like a pirate, sure, but she wants to explore the depths. She wants me to make her a bloody submarine, goodness me. She got this idea from a message in a bottle she found on the beach a few years ago. It might give me the clues on how to make this thing. I then check the notice board here. Yeah, a lot of things I don't know how to make, so I need to discover this new tier of smithing. Maybe this message Captain gave me can help. It's a story about a pirate crew who did their thing a little while ago. However, these guys had a little trick up their sleeve. They had something called a diving bell. They used this thing to plunge themselves under the water and sneak up on big ships with lots of loot. Like ghosts crawling up from the ocean floor, they would pillage ships and claim their bounties. They became quite wealthy. The message states that they had left to go to the sandy shores southwest to find a place to celebrate their wins. Maybe I need to travel further southwest looking for more clues. I speak to some locals, but I'm only going to mention this other captain for now. He's the fellow who brought me to Alien initially. It's Captain Wade. He doesn't know what happened back then either. Someone must have snuck on board and set up an explosive or something. There were a few survivors, but kind of lucky for me, Gilly, the fellow who caught me with my hands in the cookie jar, is with Davy Jones' locker. To the point, Allmate has a new ship, but he wants a new figurehead. Sure, I can smith that up for him. He's giving me full creative license, so yeah, I'll make sure to click all the buttons when the time comes. Actually, this other fella has an awesome request as well. He's missing an arm. He wants me to make him a metal arm, just with a hand with a thumb. He loves giving people a thumbs up to send good vibes. Sure, he can do that with the other hand. But what if someone does a super awesome job? They need to know how grand they are, and only a double whammy thumbs up will suffice. Sure thing, mate. I go home first. Traveling is quite easy now, to be honest. I unlock the adventurer's quarter building so Mr. Biceps can come to the village. I can see the place, and I have this fella here now. I can send him to a dungeon to get me a piece of gear, an exploration task to get me coins, or something involving community service to spread my name throughout the realm, which will improve my renown. I can send the fella on ranked missions, which would be worth more. If I equip him, he has a better chance to succeed. The higher the ranking, the more reward I will get. So the next morning, I decide to look at what he will need for his excursions. I get him a Kaldi potion to prevent tiredness. I decide to make him a bunch of Damascus stuff, and I slap it all in his inventory. I send him on a random C rank dungeon, and apparently he will be able to get me a Damascus item, which sounds fine to me. I'm about to leave, and I become sad. Can I sit here? This is where Dreisten used to sit. He used to give me tools unnecessarily. He'd be like, "Oh kid, here, have some tools." He used to give me crappy tools. And I just wanted to strike up a conversation with him, but no, he only ever spoke in tool language. Broken tool language. Okay then. I see that boat merchant on the way back to Valhelm, and I see that this guy has Amulite, which I think is the ores I need for the next tier smithing metal. Furthermore, I had made Rascal Vlad here a sneaky ring using that raw ore. Instead of monetary compensation, he has information for me. I was about to slap him, but he says that Amulite, if I chuck it into a forge with the Eternal Flame, which I probably have, it will extract the essence of the sea, which kind of sounds like the tidal wave things I've been seeing on the recipes of the next tier of goodies. So I try this out, and that information is correct. I pull this lever a few times to help this process along, but that green section is quite small, obviously because it's a better ore, so I give up on this. I shift to exploring and looking for anything noteworthy in the area. I find a lonely fellow on this island, and I tell him that I'm looking for Dreisten. Apparently this fellow, also known as Sneaky Arnie, has information about the old man, but he only helps someone he trusts. Someone who is sneaky. Well, I go smith up another one of those particular rings, and the little fella starts running off his mouth. He won all of Dreisten's money in a game of Sudoku last week. He's in their secret lair talking to their boss. It's to the northeast of here. I will encounter a gnome, he says, and I should say the phrase, "I've been burnt and I need some shade." Okay then. Northeast is my chosen path, and when I go in that particular direction, I find this giant rock island thing. At the entrance of a cave, I do find a garden gnome capable of speech. "What's the code?" he says. I tell him the phrase, and he gives me a secret code with some lazy speech attempts from the looks of it. Y, V, L, and O. Those 4 digits I punch into this rock at the cave entrance, and voila, I'm in the sneaky cave base. Dreisten, my dear friend, are you in here? Well, I see a jolly fella here, and I saunter on by. I do belong here. I have a sneaky ring on me. I see the boss, who's a giant toad. Okay, fair enough. Dreisten was here. He was looking for answers, because remember, apparently the sneakies know everything. He wanted to know about his old mentor Tvastar, about Opal, and the guy's obsession with blacksmiths. To that end, Dreisten went north to Malima to go and see Opal, but he will have to go through that base camp and up the elevator. Before I head there, Mr. Frogman has a request. They like what I've been doing in Stull. He suggests that if I build a mead hall for him and his buddies could move in and make Stull even better. I'm suspicious of that. They are the sneaky gang, but he says that he will be able to help me with more orders and getting supplies while I'm on the road. Mate, I'm gonna think about it. Sneaky Annie is back here, and she tells me a story about how they were coming back for some loot. They hit a rock and their ship started sinking. They had lost their bounty to the depths, so she's pretty much asking me for a submarine to help her retrieve it. She tells me where they lost it. Maybe I could even retrieve it for them, instead of making a submarine. Maybe that's what she's asking for, I wasn't actually paying attention. So that's potentially 2 submarines I need to make. I remembered I had a note about a pirate crew, and I decided to follow it. I head southwest, looking for something. That something is not a gorilla, but I found one wearing a pink ribbon. The dialogue exchange is as follows. "Evening, Mrs. Kong." Married, apparently. "What can I do for you today?" Which translates 5 giant red bananas in exchange for knowledge. Not the worst deal I've heard, so I'll be back with them soon. What? I have seen those specific red bananas at Valhelm, but only one in stock at the moment, so okay, this is gonna take a bit. I have plenty of time to scurry southwest, and I locate a chest. A few things in here. One more banana as well, actually. There's a scroll, which may be for my mobile forge, and a note which I'll paraphrase. Those same pirates were on their way to the spot to celebrate that huge haul they had, but they got caught in a storm, and a lot of the crew ended at the bottom of the ocean, as well as their current ship. The captain is upset that everything went down, and all he has left is this current design for a new diving bell, which is the scroll I found along with this. He wishes that he can use his new design to reclaim his loot that he lost to the north of here. Guess I'll be going to find that. Well, if in-game me wasn't so tired, he would have realized that the scroll was a thing to allow me to dive under the water with my mobile forge. But no, it's the next morning and it's a different recording session for me, so I was feeling fresh. I read that note again and I went north and I found a shipwreck here. I slammed my face into it. and it says that I need to upgrade my cart. I look at the cart upgrades, and this is the one that I want, the diving bell upgrade, to allow me to salvage resources from shipwrecks. I see now that I have the required scroll, which I got from the captain's chest before. I go ahead and hammer out the rest of what I need, and I upgrade my cart with this awesome feature. I use it right away, and I snag up this particular shipwreck. I've been seeing plenty of these, and I can now finally claim their loot. Most notable from this one was the recipe to make the submarine. Here we go, a schematic showing you how to assemble this specific item. It's worth 8,000. Oh, that's beautiful, mate. Look at that. Hell yeah, we're making this ASAP. Indeed, I wanted to finish off this area before gallivanting after old boy Dusty. The submarine takes quite a bit of Damascus, so I make sure to smelt up some of that metal. I try my best to help the furnace along to get bonus bars. I also had to make this arm metal thing for that complicated contraption, but this is not the only job I had to make this arm for. Why am I mentioning this one? I'm gonna touch on it again shortly. For now, I grind the night away, and I see that I've got two things left, a propeller and a metal cage or something. I don't know their recipes, but I have vague memories of seeing them at a vendor's shop. I think it was that traveling boat merchant, so I go look for him and help myself to some shipwrecks while I do. This one in particular had over 400 gold and 2 ammonites. I find Popeye shortly later, and he has the metal frame I'm looking for, but not the propeller. I'm gonna loiter around a bit and locate him again to see if he has it at that point. For now, I decide to buy everything he has regardless. I shift my recipe book view to items I haven't learned yet, and there it is, the propeller, so yeah, nah, I need to buy this. So here's something else. I'm in town and I can see a random quest I can hand in. It's been a few days, maybe a week or so since I've actually spoken to this fella. I'm confused because my guy says, here's your new hook with a thumb, which made no sense to me, but I just went with it. He gives me a thumbs up, saunters off, and I am dumbfounded. Moving on, I buy 2 red bananas this day, I just need 1 more. And after some more ocean dredging, I find Popeye again and he now has the propeller in stock. I auto slap these parts together, only to see that I'm now missing something. It takes me a few moments to realize I've given away that metal hand, but here we are. It's a bit later and I'm now finally making this complicated submarine, which I pass on to Captain here, and she is most pleased with it. I have earned my token, and she says that if I'm going to Malima, I need to be ready for ice, snow, and frozen toes. I realize this probably means another mobile forge upgrade, so I'm gonna have to look into that. I was under the impression I had to make another submarine for that pirate gal Annie. Luckily, Popeye has both the propeller and the metal frame, so 1, 2, 3, and I have a whole second submarine. I've also found my 5th banana by this point, and here they are, Madam Kong. She gave me the recipe to make a figurehead version of herself. Not the information I was hoping for, but hey, that's not the only bad news I get today. This pirate girl wished she had a submarine, but I misread her. She just wanted me to go find her loot, so I have a spare submarine in my pocket right now. I could sell it for apparently 7,500, but I'm gonna hold on to it. Luckily, I get myself distracted by some town upgrades, and I'm pleasantly surprised I can use that whole ass submarine that fit in my pocket to upgrade Boulder's gathering hut, so that is a huge win for me. I then see Mr. Biceps, and I don't actually recall what this fella got for me. I check the adventuring hub thing, and I don't see any Damascus item here. What I do realize is that all the gear I sent him with is gone. Looks like the gear is a one-time use, so I'm going to avoid it in the future. I randomly click, and I send him to go get me some coins exploring or something. I'm at the forge next, and this is how you make tidal wave items. You imbue this glass thing with a tidal thing, and voila, there it is. This is my stable's 3 upgrade. It now has a mailbox. I see that the next level will let me have a bird messenger, so I could potentially send messages to Stell, which sounds pretty cool and helpful. Here is the gathering hut number 3. The last upgrade is going to take a little bit of everything it seems, volcanic pickaxe as well, but this will allow Boulder to get me greater amounts of ores, as well as obsidian. For now, you can use that submarine to go and get amulite, which is on the sea floor I imagine. I woke up on day 48 with the intent of doing some town upgrades, and before I got on with that, in-game me started to wonder about the adventuring fella quests. I've not actually seen him come back with any of the stuff he was supposed to come back with. Maybe I've not been paying attention. I decided to send him on a community service thing, and this boosts my renown. I see my renown gains at the end of each day, so maybe I'll pick up on this. this. I think I mentioned this before, but the potion seller here sells all the potions I could use to teleport to various villages and back to Stell if I need to. I still like to travel, and I go ahead and make myself some new tools, so I'll be able to break down resources I come across. Afterwards, I deposit another 7,000 hard-earned coins, and I get to look at this last house upgrade I can get. I can do this one. I need the candles again. I remembered making this chandelier before. I had none in my possession, of course, but I researched that I can buy them at the miners' camp, so I use a teleport potion for the first time, and I bathed myself right into a cutscene. I forgot I was supposed to come here, and I see Dreisten heading up that elevator. Jade here, Opal's assistant or something, says that if I want to head up, I need to show my worth. She knows about the Alchemist Challenge, and that it didn't go as expected. She will allow me to show 2 tokens to be able to proceed. Tell me, how does Jade know about my trial at Lupel? I ask her a few questions, that I'm here to find Dreisten, and that the sneakies were saying that he was looking for answers. A lot of questions from a smith, but Jade responds that there are some in Elian that believe that Opal to be the cause of Stell's destruction. Wait, what? How does that make sense? Well, it doesn't. But people gossip, so what can you do? Very strange dialogue here. She said I can ask Dreisten all about it. Yeah, later I got stuff that I want to do. She does mention that I need to prepare my cart for snowy fields, which confirms to me that I will have to upgrade my mobile forge. I see Porgy has set up his shop here. His sewing career is booming. He's chosen a good location, and he asks me to make him a machine. A sewing machine, to make his work go a whole lot faster. Sure thing, mate. This looks easy enough. I just have to buy the propeller. Milo, the good boy pupper, has been playing fetch, but his ball has landed on the ice fields above the mining camp. That's okay, boy. I can get that for you when I make my way up there. For now, I find the candles I'm looking for from this traveling merchant in this area. I wake up the next morning, and there in big white text I can see that Mr. Biceps has got me 100 renown. I could see this message very clearly, so I think I'm just gonna get him to do these for me. I then inspect the chain wheels upgrade to my cart that I'm gonna need for the snowy terrain, and I think that I can get this. What I really want right now is the other 3 candles this guy has got in his stock overnight. With that purchase, I'm able to make another undying chandelier, and I bath back home, saving quite a bit of time. I add the final house upgrade to my village. Look at this majestic castle springing up into existence. At the top floor, I find this new thing. It's called the Forging Vault. I see I can donate items I make to this thing, and when I do, I get rewards every so often, but it only accepts the best quality items. Okay, cool, I might dip my toes into this at some point. There is a lot of stuff I can donate. Almost everything I could possibly make in the game. Okay, looks like I need to make everything in the game at least once, it seems. Biceps is going to go on a renown quest for me from now on. It's the only one I actually saw work, so off you go, fella. I paddle my way over to the shipwreck, because I believe it's the one that Annie the pirate wanted me to recover. I had to make a whole damn submarine to realize this is all I had to do. Yup, that was the lost merchandise I needed. Annie is very pleased that I have returned it, but she says she's looking to strike out on her own. She wants a job opportunity lined up before she leaves the sneakies. She is the best retriever in the lands, despite the fact I just retrieved that lost merchandise for her. Never mind the small details. She is an adventurer, and when I have space for her, she'll be happy to join me. Wait, really? I can get more than one adventurer? With this knowledge, I continue to smith up some metal hinges, which I use to upgrade my stables to the best level. I will now have a metal bird on my mobile forge to serve as a messenger. I see I can make a tavern in the village. It unlocks a notice board, letting customers place their orders here, and also a shop to buy some food. That is amazing. I won't have to go to the villages anymore to get these jobs. This is also the upgrade for the sneaky boss, by the way. I smith up some pots and spatulas for that tavern, but I also start to make doubles of things because I want to donate them to the forge in my home. I created the tavern, get the achievement for this, and thank God, looks like I fixed my recording setting by this point. You can actually see the achievement down below. This is a magnificent addition to the town. I can see job requests from people all over the place on this notice board, which is really damn helpful. I slap a few things into my vault. I already have 6 things donated, and I see down below a meter filling up to my first reward, which I'm pretty keen for. It might also be time to continue on with the story, so I go ahead and get the snowmobile. I have a chat to the sneaky boss. He's here before Annie, actually, and he says that he's had the sneaky set up the stuff and things in the tavern. They are the fellas that go out and get these orders, which they've chucked onto this notice board, which is really nice of them. If I upgrade the tavern further, there will be extra bonuses, which I'm really eager to see. He's also the new chef around here, and I can buy a few things from him, which looks pretty good. For now, there's not much more I can do to upgrade my village. I've reached the point where I don't have the knowledge of certain things that I need for these upgrades. I had to duck out of stall for a moment. I had to buy a propeller for that sewing machine, and I see this bird messenger at my camping location. I can contact any of the 3 groups from outside the village and send them on their way with new instructions, including Zosimus. I can get him to enchant something for me telepathically, which is pretty cool and astounding. I also got round to making that sewing machine for old mate Splinter, and I donate a few more things before moving on. I met with Porgy along the way. I gave him his sewing machine and I got the achievement to help him start his business venture. He gives me a big old apron. It's not for me, it's for Oxy, which is appreciated because that will also lead to an achievement. Honestly, I was avoiding continuing on with the story for some reason, and instead I looked for a bunch of shipwrecks. And after that I slapped the sweater on my friend. He seems to like it. I like this new feature where there's a notice board in my village with requests from all over the place. I was in fact doing 5 of them right now. I was under the impression that I got them from here. Maybe I can deliver these jobs from this board again, but I'm bothered when I see that no, I would in fact have to deliver these items to the people all around the map. I was hoping there would be a delivery service as well, because why bother receiving the tasks like this? Stay tuned though, because I get a wonderful surprise about this later on. For now, I go ahead and store all these tools because I simply couldn't be bothered. But because I made doubles of everything, I made a very nice donation. My first reward is 5 Damascus bars. Not a great first reward, but I guess I'll get better ones later. I'm parked outside the miners' camp at the moment, and here's some footage of me contacting the adventurers with my messenger bird. Kind of like sending a text message. I present the challenge tokens to Jade and inform her I'm ready to tackle the snowfields. She says once I reach the top, head east to reach Malimar, which is at the foot of the mountains. This is my first reaction. Oh Jesus, okay, fair enough, I did not expect that. Does anyone remember playing Chip's Challenge? The PC game from like the late 80s and early 90s? Yeah, this little puzzle section reminded me so much from one of those ice levels in that game. You have to keep skiing across the ice, hit the other side and try a different direction until you get to where you want to go. I break down this rock to get a chest and I get the essence of the mountain. I had already gotten the essence of the sea in the previous area. For reference, at this point, I have 21 out of 41 achievements for this game. It's some time later and I have finally made my way over to get this ball from Milo over here. I gave it back to him and I asked him if he wants to come live with me in Stull, which he is happy to do, so I guess I'll see him when I go back. It's the next day, and I had finally made my way across the ice. I find another bridge I need to traverse. I thought this thing was going to drop as I run across, but no, I see Arcana on the opposite side. She's the chief from Lupal at the desert village, where someone sabotaged me, if I recall. She's here to stop Opal's greed from causing any more despair, and it starts with preventing me from meeting up with him. Greed? What are you talking about? Opal made me such a generous offer. Complete the challenge and he will fund me and help rebuild Stull, though to be honest I've been doing a lot of rebuilding myself, let's be real. Opal's offers were only in self-interest. Arcana never had anything against me, but one stranger's life for the safety of all aliens, it was worth it. She's the one who sabotaged me. What a twist. But maybe if I knew the truth, we could make a good team against Opal. Here's what happened to old Stull. Years ago, Opal found something in the mountains of Elian, a new ore glowing with mystical powers. He brought it to Tvastar and asked for her help to harness its powers into workable tools. But certain powers are not meant for us. This one came from more powerful, all-knowing beings. Opal's greed and Tvastar's aspirations led to the destruction. Blinded by the promise of what this power could bring, they had overlooked what really matters. Arcana wouldn't be able to live with herself if she let Opal lead another blacksmith down the same path. I tried to suggest a more diplomatic approach. My guy is quite the pacifist, but Arcana disagrees. The time for talk is over. She apologizes, but says this is the only thing that she can do, prevent me from seeing Opal. To that end, she burns down the bridge. Luckily, I tiger roll my way to safety. But now, I can't get to Malimar. I hear a familiar voice shout out my name. It's Arrow from the Lumberjack village. I give him a brief rundown about my current predicament. Do you remember this fellow? He wanted little arrows, then better ones, and finally spears, because he was thinking about designing some sort of ballista. Well, if I bring him the materials now, we can go ahead and make that ballista today to help me cross this bridge, no doubt. He gives me a list of what he will need, and I start to hammer out what is required. Among the items is a set of gears. It's late when I finished and I decided to take a nap first. Here's everything you need, Arrow. Great news, he says. Now we just need the missile. He wants a really tough ballista projectile, which will be a spear, and he says if I need obsidian, I can mine it from the rocks around the area, which I've already been doing. He's given me a recipe for a volcanic spear. A slight problem though, I don't know how to make a Damascus spear, which is required for this one. I remembered though, each increase in metal doesn't matter. All recipes should be the same, right? So what's the steel version? I replicated, just changing the metal to Damascus, and voila, there is the spear I need. And there is the final volcanic spear I needed, which required the Damascus spear. I'm elaborating on this again, because I quickly make a Damascus swordbreaker dagger, which I needed for my tavern upgrade back at home. I didn't do it because I kind of forgot I could simply guess the recipes. That's for later. Let's continue on to Malima. The ballista is a masterpiece, says Arrow. He's quite pleased with his creation. I shall go towards my destiny. I fire the weapon, which has a rope attached to it, and it embeds itself in the rock face on the opposite end. I then engage in a wonderful display of acrobatics as I shuffle my way across this makeshift beamwalk. I nearly dropped myself actually, but safe and sound. I'm sure Arcana would be spewing right about now. Malima is at the foot of the mountains, but I decide to take a little nap. I explore north first. I find a cave here. I see a Yeti man with a quest marker, so clearly I can speak to him. It turns out he is cold. He's upset there's snow everywhere and it's making him cold. He's not happy right now because he's cold. I guess maybe I could give him some presents to warm him up. Well, I do have that jumper Oxy has. I tried to give it to him, but this is not what I can do here. The quest log says I need to bring him a few items to heat his house, a drink to warm him up, and a festive shirt to cheer him up. Okay, I have no idea what he wants, so that's for later. For now, I enter Malima proper, a town at the foot of the mountains. A merchant is here, a couple of elevators, as there's a few levels to this town. There's a few people here with requests, but I'm only going to mention this one, Mr. Tough here. That's his name. He wants a shovel for their work in the mines. I have never seen a shovel in this game, but here it is. I was treasure hunting much earlier in my experience, so now maybe I can go back and actually find that treasure, knowing that there are shovels in this game. At the top level, I see Feldspar, if that was his name. Mr. Roby Robe, who wanted that first undying chandelier. He has no dialogue for me, unfortunately, but here's some dialogue now. I finally catch up to Dreisten, and he's in a heated argument with Opal at the moment. Dusty says, they can't continue with this. It'll be the demise of all Alien. We have to think about the land and its people. Opal shoots back that Alien's resources are limited. What happens if we run out? When that happens, we will turn on each other. We must ensure Alien's prosperity and security. Dreisten has the info from the sneakies. He knows what Opal was really after, and that he can't risk awakening that monster again. Opal brushes this aside. The sneakies are a joke and simply having you on. I interject at this moment, and Opal seems happy I'm here and states that Dreisten here thinks he should reconsider my offer to me. I simply say I know more than you think, and that I want the truth. What's happening is that they all hate me for being king of this mountain, which comes a bit out of nowhere, to be honest. Opal continues that he also lost a friend during that time, Tvastar, but they have tracked her down. She is in this mountain. We can't search for her, because apparently Tvastar has blocked the path to make sure no one can follow her. I will test that out. I'm going in myself. Old boy Dreisten says this must all be so confusing, and I don't know who I can trust. Yeah, there's a lot of different angles to this story, but my next destination is in this mountain. He begs me to please not repeat the mistakes of the past. I enter the mountain. My forge anvil and all my camping stuff is in here. What a lovely coincidence. An elevator that goes down and looks like it's another puzzle section. There's a chest here with some goodies for me to pilfer, but also a lot of food. Why is there so much food in here? There's another level lower and even more ladders leading down, but I decide to go back up for now. There's another chest at this entrance. Inside, I find a note, Tvastar's Journal 1. I have no inventory space, unfortunately, so I head outside and I see Arcana out here in a cage. She apologizes to me and only begs me to consider how my choices will impact others. My choices right now was to empty my inventory back at camp, but it took me a few minutes to run down there. I'm back in the mountain, and there's a few levers that I need to fix. Tvastar didn't block the path, she simply sabotaged it from the looks of it. There's at least 5 different levels in this mountain, and another code which I'll have to uncover, and another journal scrap from the looks of it. There's this lovely chest at the top, which I could use to temporarily store stuff, but I guess I was thinking it would despawn my belongings, but here we are. This is Tvastar's journal 1. She's following the monster's tracks into the depths of the mountains, trying to make sense of what happened. She wants justice for everyone who lost everything in the attack. I guess she's referring to that dragon attacking Stull in the flashback. She becomes remorseful, saying that the gift they received has really turned everything upside down. Journal number 2. She feels that she's getting closer, but what will she do when she finds what she's searching for? It's not like she can hope to convince a monster to surrender to justice. The path in front of her is a dangerous one, but she's gone too far to quit now. I follow her footsteps. I fix levers. I drop boxes down through trap holes. I find more boxes, another letter for the code, and I eventually make my way through and I enter a very expensive chamber in the mountain. Lava is pouring everywhere. There's some kind of shimmering ore there and a quest marker. Of course, you know what's coming next. Yeah, yep. Okay then. My guy bolts like a little mouse into another room on the far right. There's a small living quarters here, a decomposed body, and a dragon outside calling out, saying that it can hear a frightened mouse cowering in fear. Come to steal from him? Understandably, my dude is freaking out a little. I have 2 choices. Go out and face my fear. Convince the dragon I'm not here to steal from him, or I could hide here, wait it out and try to sneak out later. I peruse the room. There's a letter on this corpse here. It's Tvastar's journal 3. Oh no, you're joking me, is that Tvastar? But indeed it is. Her last journal from the looks of it. It's almost entirely illegible, except for a few lines. There is so much of that ore. If I could find a way to sneak out and leave the cave with some, I could make swords that rival its power. I just have to stay quiet and hope that I'll be able to find a way out before my supplies run out. It looks like it was the latter outcome. So my current choice is again, try to hide and sneak out or face my fears. Rest until the dragon. No, I do not need to rest. I will face my problems head on. I shall speak to this dragon. I'm sure he's reasonable. Maybe I can convince the dragon that I won't steal anything from him. Yeah, leave your hiding spot. Just as I leave, I get an achievement. For the sake of this narrative, I will block that one and reveal it in a short time. Right now, I go and face a dragon with no armor, no legendary sword, nothing, just this tiny little fella. The dragon finds this amusing, of course. Am I a fool or foolishly brave? I don't know, a mix maybe. I'm currently stuttering like a fool. I am blowing this. I might as well grab some salt and season myself with it. This humor catches the dragon off guard. Who the hell is this weirdo? Oh, just your friendly neighborhood blacksmith with the aspirations to become a legendary smith. Another smith came here once upon a time. Obviously it was the late Tvastar, and the dragon says, yes, that name sounds familiar. That little mouse was blinded by vengeance and never came out of its hiding hole, as I saw. What was she to me? Well, no one really. Just the previous awesome smith in these lands. Maybe an idol I could try to live up to. The dragon drops a bomb on me. Tvastar was a thief, a grave robber who stole parts of his ancestors. Excuse me, come again? Grave robbing? That sounds a bit out of character. People have been punished for this affront before, and now we are here again. Why should the dragon believe I'm not here for the same reasons? To be fair, it's rare for humans to be so far in the dark. My guy is so honest. He says from the sounds of what he's saying, I am indeed here for what he's describing. I'm careless, declares the dragon. The secret is no longer safe. He knew we would be coming back for it. I kindly asked the dragon not to eat me. I'm slightly confused. Could you explain the situation to me? I mean no harm. A pause follows. We dragons are living embodiments of magic. Our bodies decay, but the magic in our bones get left behind. It crystallizes into what people call an ore, but what we fail to understand is that this ore is the essence of the dragon's soul. I imagine he's referring to these sparkly orange things behind us. Indeed, these crystals are his ancestors, and all humans can think about is how they can utilize this to give us more power. Oh, I see. Yes, well, this could indeed be a problem. Some humans do have a thing for power. How about this? Maybe we can say I didn't see this down here. I didn't see you and you didn't see me. Nothing is down here. The dragon is suspicious. Obviously this is a trick. Some pathetic last ditch effort to try and sneakily grab some or something. Yeah, nah mate, I'm good, eh? Oh come on. I haven't played cat and mouse in ages. I could use a bit of fun. Really? Sounds like the dragon needs a friend more than anything. Nope, that won't be necessary. I'll just be on my way. Wait. You really do not want to take any Adamas? Oh, must be the name of this essence. What if I told you I would give you some? What would you do with it then? That much power is going to be a lot of responsibility. I've come to love and treasure this land and its people. I would hate to see it all go to ruin over, no offense here, some crystals. The dragon is taken aback. I may be the only one capable of carrying this burden of power. I will give you one piece, the one that was in the fist of your friend. Consider this a second chance for your kind. Disappoint me, and I will burn your beloved land to a crisp. Meh, you know what? I think we are just fine without it. Little Smith. Hey, I've been promoted from Little Mouse. It's only a matter of time before someone else comes sauntering down here looking for this power. My heart is good and I am worthy. Take it. Show my kind how to use it for good, before some other prick comes in here and does the opposite. Now, either this is an amazing outcome of reverse psychology or just the way things have panned out. Okay, I'll take it, and I'll make sure we go down the right path. And with that, I've been given Adamus by Mr. Dragon here. I can now finally scurry on out of here. Above ground, Drysten greets me. They all felt the earth shaking, and they suspected the worst. Arrow cuts in. After that ordeal at the bridge, he went to go and fetch Peregrine. They snagged up Myrtle and all the other chiefs along the way, and with all of them currently here, including Arcana, they have held a chiefs meeting. The conclusion of their business meeting, they all admire my bravery to enter this mountain. It inspired them all to put an end to Opal's reckless behavior. Arcana was right. His paranoia of not being able to provide for his people has become dangerous. His solution was only going to destabilize our way of living. In his hands, the dragon power would have disturbed the balance of peace we've all come to cherish. Opal screams out from the cage there. The time will come, you all think I'm out of my mind, but you'll see. A quick backtrack about that achievement I got as I was about to talk to the dragon. I convinced the dragon to let me go and Opal was exiled. So this ending was kind of spoiled for me, but oh well. So yes, Captain from Velhelm says Opal and Jade will be sent away, so indeed they will be exiled. Feldspar will become the new chief of Malima, so that's all sorted. So what happens next? A vacation maybe? Nope, Arcana has something she would like to discuss. When I have a chance, I need to go and see her in Lupal. It will be in regards to this new ore. And Drysten, you ready to come back to Stel for all time's sake? Maybe even get you behind the anvil. We're expecting a lot of orders to come up. With this, I have reached the end of While the Iron's Hot. I still have work to do, and I have my suspicions about a certain decision I made before. For reference, I had played this game about 18.5 hours. I take a quick squiz at the achievements. There was indeed one for when I made the other choice in the mountains, which worried me. I think I have to play this game twice. That's for later. Right now, I awaken in my comfy bed in Stel on the morning of day 60. It's the final stretch of my playthrough, and as always, I want to complete everything I want to, as well as grabbing all the Steam achievements. I see Drysten loitering around, and I'm compelled to speak to him. Do I need tools because I'm in a pinch, or can I actually talk to you? I'm given a choice, thank God. I ask him if he wants to get back behind the anvil, and yes, he does want to get back into the swing of things, but you know, missing an arm and smithing will make it complicated. That's fair, but mate, I can forge you a new arm. I got you. What else have I got? Oh right, that Damascus dagger, which I used to get the Tavern 2 upgrade. It adds more customer orders and more food options that Mr. Frogman can dish up. I then hammer out one of each pickaxe and unlock the final gatherer's hut for Old Boy Boulder. He can gather a lot more ores now, as well as get me some obsidian, which I send him out for right away actually. I see the last forge upgrade is still unavailable, which means I'll probably have to give Drysten a hand. Quite literally. So I go ahead and slap together this metal arm for the old fella, and wow, He is taken aback. Don't go crying on me, Dreisten. I'm sure that's just sweat coming from your eyeballs. I ask him for a hand in the forge, and he says, yes boss. I just need to get the upgrade. I've gone ahead and made what I needed to do. Unlocking this gets me an achievement as well, taking Dreisten as my apprentice, despite the fact he's significantly older than me. However, the old man has some hidden talents. Apparently he sprouts out of the earth with this new building, ready to do some work. He will be able to help me with my orders, and once he's done with something, he will toss it into my mailbox. I check this feature out. Looks like I can tell him to work on any orders I have, so long as I give him the materials he will need. He's good to do the rest then. So the first thing I wanted to focus on was completing my town and unlocking everything. I'm delighted to see that the last tavern upgrade allows the sneakies to do a postal service for me. I can receive all orders, and now I will have an easier way to deliver them. Shh, not so loud, says the postman. But yes, they can run around really fast for me. To be precise, they are a near instantaneous postal service. They will be asking for a cut of the profit, of course, which is just fine. I have a few orders I did a little while ago because I received them here and then refused to go out delivering them. I had 5 of them, which sneaky postal services can detect. The fee for this lot will come to 88 coins. He takes the packages, and before our conversation is even done, he yells at me that it's all done and dusted. It is their pleasure. I start to receive all the items I would have if I did these deliveries myself. My portion of the coins comes in, any recipes that was part of the reward, and any materials that are sometimes gifted as well. So now I'm free to pick up these 5 jobs on my town notice board, which the sneakies have procured for me. I pass the orders on to Dreisten, who slowly hammers and nails out the items requested. Like these mining carts I've had for ages, but never personally had the recipe to complete. A few moments later, done. My god, this is awesome. Just before, when I tried it out, I also got the achievement to complete 50 orders, so this does work towards those achievements. I believe there's one for 100 orders, and this will make it very convenient for me. The only thing I need to worry about is providing Dreisten with all the materials he will need. I go ahead and upgrade the Adventurer's Quarter 2, and on the cusp of dawn, I get the last Mage Tower upgrade. I chase Milo around in the early hours of the morning, and I ask Zosimus if he can discover a new recipe for me, which he can. Every day he can reveal an unknown recipe for me, and this is how I can unlock everything else in the game. I had looked up an achievement, and I needed to buy every single eating item I could get my hands on, at which point I proceed to slam it into my face one by one. I'm quite the foodie. Eventually, after eating everything in sight, I get the achievement to taste everything on Alien. I make the most glorious discovery at the potion shop. At this time, I was under the impression that once I've done all the achievements I can do on this save file, I would have to do an evil playthrough or something. Not the case. Oh. Allows you to turn back time up to right before meeting with the dragon. Are you serious? Yep, looks like the developers thought about this and put in a potion to turn back the clock to just before you make that critical decision. No need to play the game twice. When I'm ready, I'll take this potion. I am so glad that this is a thing. By the way, for some reason, Milo is an adventurer for me. I can send him out on the same quests as Mr. Biceps. Funny enough, he's more efficient at it. I see there are 2 more people I can unlock, and I'm gonna have to go find them, although I'm pretty sure Annie is one of them. I'm also gonna have to give him the space. I get the second last adventurous upgrade now, and with the final upgrade, I see that I need to cheer up that cold Yeti up north, meaning he's probably going to be the 4th adventuring fella. One final building I can get is the lighthouse. I can't do this yet, it only gives me the information that grandmas are your biggest supporters, whatever that means. My 3rd lackey is indeed Sneaky Annie, and she's more efficient than Milo, so I can expect this Yeti to be an awesome renown gatherer for me as well. That is in fact the only job these people have, because I saw there are a few intense renown achievements. I've gotten to the point where I can't upgrade anything further in the town, so it's time to hit the road. I have a few simple goals, and it's day 63 by the way. I want to visit every single town and pick up all the jobs there. I want to visit every merchant at the villages as well as the traveling merchants and buy everything, every resource they have, because I don't want to gather anymore. I do my shameful sand trick of course to make sure that I have the funds to do this. I can teleport, but I just felt like running across the map myself. Stretch my legs a bit. I'm in Valhelm, and I am abusing that bug quite a bit. However, I get what I deserve. I wasn't paying attention, probably watching my son on the baby monitor or something, and I accidentally leave my 999 sand in the shopkeeper's stock, and I forget to buy it back. Onwards without sand. I meet Arcana, who has studied the properties of the Adamas. She has come up with a new design based on the old Alembic, which is fine. I'll touch on this again soon. I am busy right now. but when I get to it, she wants me to make a portable alembic. Alright then. I go ahead and smelt up all of those resources I got on my adventures, and I realize as I'm telling Drysten to get to work that I have got no sand on me. I realized I've lost my bargaining chip. I now have 3 left, and I have to start that pile of 999 again. At least Boulder can get me sand, but I do make a small purchase of 99 sand at Lupal, but this will be for crafting, not for exploiting the game. I can't believe I've got the audacity to say this. Can you go faster, mate? This is the most convenient way for me to do something, but even I'm impatient. Good golly almighty. Yep, what a prick. But anyways, I send bulk deliveries, 15 on this occasion, and apparently I've now completed 100 orders. I guess I can stop this now if I wanted to. Not quite yet. I forgot to travel to Mullimar and get the requests. I picked one up for Felspar. I did it, and I got the achievement to do a job from every location, so that's crossed off. I wanted to go treasure hunting, so I go ahead and make myself a shovel. Before that, I quickly send Milo on a B ranking community service job. Mate, the dog's got more capabilities than you. You should hang your head in shame. What are you pumping iron for if you can't even do something that a dog does? Goodness gracious me, soul. What are you doing with your life? Yeah, Mr. Biceps is something special. I proceed to be special, I guess. I don't actually know. But I go back to that farmland where the fella gave me the treasure map, and I try to find the location again of said treasure. This is my clue, but I got no prompt or anything to use the shovel to do any digging. Do you use this to get the treasure? I loitered around trying to figure this out. I even looked it up, but because this game is quite unknown, I found no information about what I'm trying to achieve. If you have played this game and you know about this particular treasure, I never found it and I had to leave it. What I can do is enter this lighthouse. It's another small puzzle section, so let's just say I eventually got through it. I meet Ida at the very top, and after I helped her get the lighthouse back up and running, she becomes my biggest fan. She gives me her granddaughter's card, who is probably going to be the person who will come and live in my lighthouse when I build it, seeing as I've probably unlocked it now. This is in fact the case. The first level will let me uncover more clouds when I'm traveling. I get the first one, get the achievement, see this wonderful building in all its glory, and I meet Matilda, who is the granddaughter of Ida. She says that if I upgrade her place of residence, her research will benefit me. The next level will uncover all the clouds, which will probably give me a decent renown boost. And the final upgrade will make finding map tiles keeping secrets much easier to spot. So in the space of a day, I've gotten all of these upgrades. Matilda has no further dialogue, so she just looks like a glorified pigeon in my town now. But I do see that 7,000 clouds were lifted at the end of the day, which gave me a ton of renown. I awoke on day 68 and I did a little bit of research. I go ahead and buy a bio potion that warms you up. I smelt one of those special logs that makes it a nice blue flame one, and I steal this holiday looking shirt from the washing line and Valhelm. I give all 3 of these items to the Yeti up here. When he has all 3 items, he's more receptive to the idea to come live in Stull where it'll be warmer. I get the final upgrade to the Adventurers Guild, and that is in fact the final building upgrade I can get in Stull. I get the achievement for it. Mr. Yeti will be the most effective adventurer I have to get me renown. I buy a bunch of food for energy in the morning of day 69, and I dive back into that maze area where I lost track of time. It's the place where I eat cactuses that make me feel all dizzy, and it eats up my stamina, which is why I got all this food to counter this. One of the lighthouse upgrades said it'll make tiles with secrets easier to spot. I can see that spot moving, and in fact I know something is there. I had to be under the effects of a cactus to see Sherman the snake. A long story short here, Sherman here has the final score I need to upgrade my mobile forge. This was the achievement to meet the snake, and I used that scroll to get the last upgrade to my mobile forge. This also gets me the achievement to pimp it out. This upgrade comes with a better bed for more comfort, which is pretty good. There's an achievement to dress Oxy in 10 different items. I have been doing a few of them throughout the game, and I've got 9 achievements left in total to go. I looked up all the items I can procure, and there seems to be 12 fashion pieces in total. I provide this gal here with gears, and she gives me a lab coat, which I slap on Oxy, and he looks very smart. I get rock climbing gear from Hawk for providing her with rock climbing picks. I'm sure Oxy is thinking I'm accessorizing him. I currently have 8 pieces of clothing right now, including the one he's currently wearing. And I also see that Yeti gets me 400 renown every time he does his thing, a 4 times better than Mr. Biceps in fact. During all this time, I've done a quest line for Wade here. The last thing I gave him was an anchor, and he gave me a captain's hat. I slap it on Oxy's noggin, and I'm surprised that I get the achievement to dress him up 10 times. I guess this one was literally dress him up 10 times, be it redressing him in the same few outfits or new ones. I do know that there's a few more. I'll get one for completing this portable alembic. I pass this on to Arcana here, a portable alchemy set so she can travel and make potions on the go for aliens in need, and also teach them how to make potions without them having to come here. With this revolutionary technology, she sent letters to all the other chieftains about this new ore, and they can probably come up with something new to better the lives of all aliens. As thanks, she gives me a turban, which is for Oxy. I go and see Peregrine next. He's come up with a freezer idea, so people can travel distances and keep their edibles fresh, especially in the desert. I go and see Captain, and she has the idea for a boat engine to keep vessels moving even when there is no wind. There is no quest to benefit all aliens from Myrtle. Fair enough, maybe that bridge I made way back when was her contribution. I go and see Feldspar, the new mining chief, and naturally he wants me to make a big old drill. The astute would have noticed that all three of those innovations required Adamas. My best friend is no longer here, but seems I'm free to indulge in a little grave robbing. Hey, he said he trusted me, and it's true, I am bettering the lives of aliens with these dragon souls. Whoops, my apologies. He is here, but not a single word is spoken between old friends. This was really awkward. Well, I use the Adamas to make all the inventions the chieftains have asked for, and each one pays me handsomely for their projects, around 4,000 to 5,000 each. When I've handed them all in, I get the achievement to help better the lives of all aliens. It's getting to the point where I need to complete this vault. It's that room in my house for all the best crafted items I need to donate. I decided to begin with the tools. Take note that the ones with the stars next to them have already been donated, so this is going to help me keep track of what's been done already. Thank you, developers. It was actually very helpful. So for several days and several play sessions, I'm at my forge working up a sweat. For the entire duration, Zosimus is getting recipes for me. I'm doing a lot of this off camera, and I missed getting a few key recipes from Zosimus on recording, which you're gonna see soon. For now, I systematically make every single item in the game, making sure they are the best quality I can make. When I have a bunch ready, I toss them into this forging vault, getting a few rewards in the process. Doing it by category was really helpful for me to keep track of my progress. All the tools are done in the space of a day. So you know, these are not orders. I can't get Dryston to make any of this for me. I have to make every single item for this. It was a bit tedious, so I started watching One Piece on my second monitor as I did it. You can see I've stored 48 flawless items by this time. I found out that I didn't need some items, like a set of gears, but I didn't know this until I made it and tried to donate it, which kind of frustrated me. Luckily for me, I was able to scroll on the vault inventory itself and see the items I had left to donate, so I go ahead and screenshot all of them, and I made a list for myself. Some of the final items were those alembic things I made way back when, so they were very time consuming because they required a lot of materials. Time passes. I have no idea what day this is, but I finally made it all. There'll be one left. Yep, there is. Boom. Probably need to take it. There you go. Complete the forging vault. Excellent. That one took a short while to do. Yeah, it took a few hours over several gaming sessions to complete this vault, and if you didn't notice, that was 103 flawless items I had to make. So here's what could be the most tedious achievements in this game: reaching the famed master and the living legend status with my renown. I had no idea how long these would take. For a few days before attempting these, I've looked up strategies of doing this, and I found a bit of a cheap way of doing it. A test needed to be done. I made some glass strips, and then those same glass pieces I tossed back into the smelter to resmelt into glass bars again. I had 45 strips, and with my help, I have actually doubled the amount of glass bars that I have. This can be utilized to expand your own stocks of metal bars, to be honest. It's such a broken mechanic. I love it. I wish I did this earlier in the game. So here, with 240 iron bars, I make 720 iron strips. With the bulk making, I make all 720 in one go. I then go ahead and resmelt all 720 iron strips. After standing here for quite a while, I'm halfway through smelting the 720 down, but 615 bars is enough. I have tripled my iron bars, and with that I can now make over 1800 iron strips, again instantly. I end up with over 2000 of them. When I sleep this day, I get over 3000 renown. The next morning I go ahead and grind an entire stack, making them into the sharpened metal strips. I then grind the same stack, but this time it says it will be repairing them. So here I am repairing these 999 iron strips. I can do this over and over and over again. It seems if I do this once, I get 1,000 or 2,000 renown points, and I'm at the distinguished 1 level now. I'm going to be doing this for a few days. I didn't need to sleep. I was just going to bed to see how much experience I get and if I got those achievements. On this occasion, I got almost 22,000 renown. I still don't have those achievements, and I must have repaired these strips 20 times or something. I can now see I get 1 XP for each one, so 1,000 each time I do it. Imagine doing this for real. How long would these achievements be? I can't imagine. I'd say these achievements would be the worst for tediousness if you do it for real. Another 19,000 renown, and I finally get these 2 achievements. Looking at this, I've got 3 left to go, and that requires me to time travel. So I go ahead and I buy this particular concoction. I drink it and I travel back in time. I still have everything on me, all my achievements, the vault and everything, so okay cool, I won't ask questions, I'm just gonna get on with it. These two have a familiar conversation. The puzzle dungeon I had done before is also still done, so I just have to make my way down. I run for my life a second time, which is good fun, but this time I take a little nap instead of facing my fears. The achievement pops up, which I'll blank out for a second because it's a spoiler, but for now, days pass, the rumbling outside has stopped and it's time to sneak out. This is me sneaking, by the way. I'm spotted, naturally, and I leg it, but not before taking down this giant support beam. The entire place comes crashing down. When the dust settles, Opal makes his way in. With no dragon in sight, he and his miners will get enough Adamas to equip all of Malimar. I thought I was dead. Opal walks on by, and a random soldier of his says, "Isn't that the blacksmith?" He shows little concern for me and simply says, bring him back up to recover. He will need my skills, and when I become a problem, he will deal with me then. Opal's grasp on Adamas marked a new era for Elian, one destined to be sculpted by his dominion, for better or for worse. To all we've lost, forever on our hearts. The credits roll, and that would be the bad ending. I'm not done yet. The bad playthrough continues. I'm literally dropped like a sack of potatoes at Stahl. I thought I was about to get assassinated, but no, the sneaky fella just wanted to talk. He says he has a message from a guy with one arm and a big scar. What, are you referring to Dryston that's standing right there in his apprentice spot? Apparently him and Arcana have fled, and they're in a safe spot. From there, they're working towards liberating Elian. I'm handed a letter. Dryston thought he had lost another loved one, but when he wanted to come down into the mountain, Opal ordered his guards to seize everyone. He had dealt with both him and Arcana, and they have both been exiled. They are happy that I'm safe, but they want my help to free Elian from Opal's grasp. I will be their eye on the inside. Okay, sounds good to me. Just one thing though. He's right here. I guess the game goes wonky once I use that potion, but I can't see the old fella here. Oh well, I won't dwell on it. I go and gather some potions, as well as a time travel one, because I'm not a fan of this timeline. I had been given recipes by Zosimus over that long crafting section I did before, and I must have done this off camera for those multiple days as I was doing the vault. I had made the musket, Adamas bolt, and the Adamas sword. I had looked at my last achievements, and I assumed I would probably need these. I meet Opal upon his mountain fortress, and he says he has a job for me. Oh yeah, what sort of job? He gives me the blueprints, which I already have. Zosimus came into clutch with his retrieving ability for me. The Adamas sword, already done mate. Another weapon, something with a little bit more reach, the Adamas bolt. I hand it over, but I say to All Mate I don't think weapons are the way forward. I convinced a dragon to let me go once upon a time. Surely I can do the same to a fellow Elian. Know your place, Smith. Yeah, okay, this fella is a tool. He makes me wait till the morning to do this final request. I mean, I'm only doing these for the achievement. The final weapon, the musket. And just like that, I have completed the achievement to create devastating weapons for Opal. He shoos me away, and he gives me a necklace. The final item I needed for Oxy, actually, but I don't put this ill-gotten good around his neck. The final achievement in this game can only be done with the bad ending. I need to speak with Nugget over here. He's under the thumb of Opal, an oppressed miner if you will. Nugget wants a sword to protect himself because he wants to do a runner. I make him a very big sword. Don't know if he can carry it, but I'm not fussed. I hand over this weapon of his liberation, and I get the final achievement in this game, planning for an escape. And guess what? There we go. You've unlocked all achievements 41 out of 41. 100%. It's a bit of a mess around trying to, go back in time and all that sort of stuff, but we ended up doing it in the end, which is hugely appreciated. I enjoyed this game. I didn't expect it to be this engaging. A game with zero combat, it was purely a crafting RPG, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it as well. Hey Musketeer, cheers for checking out my 100% While the Iron's Hot movie. Do you want more? What about 100% Potion Permit video? Or 100% of Stardew Valley? Or how about a 200 Days Dinkum movie? Until next time, one for all and all for one. Cheers Musketeers.